hello. I forgot to hit go live. If I disappeared randomly throughout the stream, it's because my computer keeps randomly crashing. I suspect it's got something to do with the compiler touching code it shouldn't or something, but it's also crashing during video games. So something is wrong with my computer. It's just so, like, I can leave it running indefinitely and nothing's a problem, but every time I compile code, it has a chance of crashing. So maybe not the best thing to do, but I have legitimately no idea how to fix it. Anyway, I want to explain like vibe coding, because I've heard, like, when I posted the announcement for this stream, someone said on my never-ending quest to unsubscribe from everyone who says vibe coding, and so I feel like that's a bit like disingenuous. And like, I use the word vibe coding because it's popular, but like, I'm not necessarily doing what you think is vibe coding, because I'm getting it to write documentation, not actually getting it to write the code. But like, fair enough. But I just feel like unsubscribing because someone used the meme word is, you know, a little bit strong. And then someone said excited but sad underneath that, which is yeah, like, I suspect that's them interested in what I'm going to do, but like going like not really interested in seeing that I'm using AI. So well, we'll see how the stream goes and work out, you know. But so the plan is to like do the actual planning of a document, like of the game, and then actually write the code myself. Like, I'm not going to use to vibe code the actual whole thing. My kind of thing with vibe coding is that like, if you write the code from the beginning using AI, you basically cannot edit the code like a human. Like, it would take so long to learn how the code is working that it's not like actually better. Or like, you can no longer make targeted changes. Like, you have to basically, if you vibe code from the beginning, you have to continuously vibe code the rest of like the thing, because the AI is the only thing that can understand it. I just wanted to show like one of the things that like, this is my inspiration for doing is I made this in like 2 days. It's like a thing to make my videos quicker. So like, the AI does not generate the video. The AI just does the tedious work of like, so I can paste in, if I go to main, this is the sample code like that I'd be in the video. This is like what would be displayed on the slide by the end of the slide. I can then go in, like, launch this program and say like, hey, I want this struct. So it's going to render the intro, then it's going to render this struct, and then it's going to add all these fields. And so we go to the preview thing. It's like, it's going to look like this, and then it's going to go to this, and then it's going to like add the derives, and then it'll add each field. And I can do things like I can delete these 2 fields and then go back to here and re-add that. I don't know why it's doing that. I think it's because it needs something in between, maybe. The AI has broken it at some point. It used to be able to add a second one, and then you could like, the fields that weren't revealed in the first block would be revealed in the second block and as a collapsed block. So it was doing cool stuff. Now I have no idea what it's doing. So like, get to here, and then it redoes everything. So it's broken, but like, I can ask AI to fix it, and it's about making my videos faster, because if we go to the scenes, and then main, this is what comes out of there. Like, this is what that program generates, and this is what I'd be doing manually by hand. So like, it's about speeding up my ability to make videos, not making the AI do the videos for me. Like, the AI is not generating the videos. The AI is just allowing me to write an algorithm that otherwise would be generating the code. Like, I could have by hand written a or like loaded some a crate that passes Rust code, and then like made it myself generate this stuff. The AI made it faster. The AI is not replacing the creativity as much as it's like allowing me to do it a bit faster. So that's where my view on AI is, I guess. Anyway, we're gonna make it plan a game, and then like hopefully over the next couple of weeks we'll like, try and implement the game that we planned. Yeah, but it is vibe coding. like I'm calling it vibe coding because vibe coding is the trendy thing to call it. Like, it's the AI generating the stuff. Like, I guess the difference for me is vibe coding is this kind of thing. So if I go here, I'm gonna open a new editor window because I don't like the side chat thing. If I go like plan and be like, make me a plan for a game, like, the vibe coding bit is the fact that this is built into the IDE and can actually edit the files and can read the files. That's what makes it vibe coding. Whereas if I went to, it's like a tab, bring it over. There we go. I'm gonna like ChatGPT, and we just go like, we'll actually go to T3 Chat because I actually have a membership T3 Chat, and so it can do like, so if I just like, and I went here and said design me, like, this isn't vibe coding. This is using AI to design something. Vibe coding is the fact that it's built into the editor and can read the code. Like, that to me is the difference. It's like vibe coding is using AI to code with vibes, but without necessarily reading the code. So yeah, I guess, I don't know. My thing is like, the AI is really good at letting me like write some dot points and turning it into an actual structured plan, which I am personally not very good at. Like my ADHD is like, if I have a plan, I can implement the plan. Or like if I have a good idea, like when I was doing Snake, it's like, I know what Snake looks like, so I can do Snake. But when I'm trying to plan something as I go, I am way too ambitious and that kind of thing. And the AI is really good at being like, hey, why don't we tone down the feature creep? And it's like, oh yeah. So the AI for me is like very much that like I am one person and the AI lets me act like multiple people. I guess is another way of looking at it. But yeah, I guess I call it vibe because it was the term. Like it's the same as it, like YouTube trying to claim that they're not social media because there's very little social aspect of YouTube, or like, you know, it's not the same thing as Facebook. It's the same thing. It's like we call it social media because social media describes what it is, not because it's social. If that makes sense. Like I call it vibe coding because everyone else calls programming with AI vibe coding, not because I'm just doing it with vibes, I guess. It's a weird semantic thing. I don't know how to get back into that weird view. It wants me to answer questions, but I don't know how to get to the questions. Help. Plan. It's somewhere. Well, apparently I broke it. How do I get back to the... There you go. My disagreement there is writing something on vibes versus good engineering is purely based on experience, because I can tell you on a vibe that I think you're about to do something really stupid, and how good my vibe is entirely proportional to how good of an engineer I am. Is like that kind of thing of like, most things are vibes based in that, like, you go, yeah, that's not going to work. But like the planning stage is turning that, yeah, it's not going to work as a gut reaction into like a detailed plan of why it's not going to work, which I guess is what the AI is doing, is it's turning my vibes into actual plan. I guess maybe there's a way of looking at it, but yeah, the vibe is the popular term. But my point is like, the other thing is, like, I guess AI has changed a lot since vibe coding became a term, and then people have started actually going like, vibe coding's good, is that it really was like bad when it first came out, because it was literally people being like, make me a game, and then the AI just sort of generated some Python code, and it was like, wow, it's amazing that it can even get something to render. And now it's like, it legitimately reads the code base. Model. Refactor the animation and asset loading system in... Not exactly in a fast way on my... Yeah, that's what I mean, is like, it's called vibe coding because it really did used to be very vibe based, but like, that's what I don't like about people having an issue with vibe coding now. And I like the few Theo videos I see that he talks about it, it very much is a he goes, there's vibe coding, I don't even read the code, and there's vibe coding, like, I'm asking the AI to generate the boring shit. And as I say, like, it can do a very good job of refactoring things if you give it very strict definitions, which is why I don't consider programming in the web interface, like asking it to do stuff there, to be the same thing as doing it in IDE, because the IDE, like you'll see when we start actually doing it, I guess, is idle incremental. Okay, what kind of game would you like to build first? Okay, no. So there's one thing about this also, is it gives you an option to like be like, no, none of these. So it's it will be an idle game where the media is number go up, but the user will interact with the numbers by doing things in a voxel world. The idea is so like, for example, to gather wood they gen a forest and pick up sticks. Each visit to the same world will same tile will generate the same forest. Like trees in the same place. Okay, something like that. Web build 2. I think we'll go with desktop only because I think it'd be doing. We'll do it long term. Okay, what matters most right now? Core gameplay loop. Making a flexible voxel render engine. I guess. I don't know. Can we do that? Does it submit both? Okay. It's vibe coding is one of those things. Like it got named when it was something else, but now it's the name that's stuck, and I just think that people are being a bit vibe coding bad. And it's like, well, like it's very different. I guess, and it's also one of those experience things. Like a lot of people, like my dad, for example, went, "Oh, the AI is stupid," because I asked it a technical question and it made up an answer. Like it, and then he asked like what the best gate opener was, and it just gave him like a product number, and it wasn't even for a gate opener, and it was like, "Oh, yeah, AI is shit, just make shit up." And it's like, yeah, but you also asked it an opinion, and then said that it got the facts wrong, and it's like, but that's a well-known thing about AI is that like you can't ask them opinions. Or like you have to treat everything as an opinion. It just makes shit up. Like that, it's like trust it as much as you would trust a random stranger who said it's not super intelligent. It's just better than everyone else. Like not every, like even if you're talking to the smartest person in the world, you wouldn't trust them to just list off a product number off the top of their head. Like you would double check that is the correct product number. And that's what the AI does, is that like it'll list off a product number, and then you're like, everyone just goes, "Oh yeah, must be right." Yeah, I think the big issue that people hate AI is that people hate how AI is being used more than they hate AI. And it annoys me to no end because I've had many arguments with people where they were like, they were going, "Oh, AI is bad." I'm like, no, you mean like LLM generative AI like is bad, not AI. Like, because like the issue is that like, especially people who play video games, it's like video games have had AI since the dawn of video games. It's like an algorithmic way of determining things. Like AI isn't the problem. The issue is that what everyone calls AI right now is trained in an unethical way. I was trying to like explain to someone like that it doesn't have to be trained on stolen art. They could train it, like actually pay people appropriately and train it. And then what is the problem? Because they're going, "Oh, but like it's really stealing from artists." I'm like, "Yeah, but what if they fixed that?" And then I know, but AI is shit. And I went, "But like autocomplete on your phone, like the text prediction is also AI." And their response was, "Oh, I'm sure it's got blood on its hands somewhere." And I'm like, yeah, but that's such a like closed-minded shitty way of looking at it, of being like new technology bad. And it's like, yeah, it annoys me. But yeah, not click on foundation. So it says define core pillars and tiles, active gameplay loop, persistent idle growth, set technical baseline, Bevy lock, serialization, hashing. Interesting. Yeah, it's just an interesting thing, like, in my opinion, like, people don't understand the technology, and then they're saying it's all bad because they watched one video that explained that it's unethical at the moment because they're stealing all the code. And it's like part of the reason I'm using Copilot instead of, which and admittedly does just call into the GPT one, so it's not like it's that good, but like at least they can make the claim that they trained, like their fine-tuning was trained on open public like information that they legally have the right to do. Like, they own GitHub, so them scraping their own website to train it to be better at coding is, like, at least somewhat plausibly better than like the OpenAI being like, oh yeah, but we stole everything on the internet, and now we want to sue anyone that tries to steal our stuff from, like, or I think it's Anthropic's the other one that's like even worse, where Anthropic keeps trying to sue companies for trying to like distill their models. And it's like, so it was okay for you to scrape the entire internet without asking, but if someone tries to scrape your website without asking, that's an offense. And it does feel a little bit like they're pulling the rope up behind them kind of idea, which it's just all, yeah, the bubble is the problem, not technology, but who knows. I don't know if it has to be in agent mode to be able to actually write things to a file. I think it might. Can you lay out a template Game-Dev doc in plan.md so I can fill in some information. See if it can do that. Yeah, it is kind of insane that the multi-billion-dollar companies are going, but they're stealing our technology. And it's like, yeah, but like, one, they're not stealing your technology because like the actual underlying thing is like, you stole it or someone else. Like I love that like the Chinese labs keep publicly being like, hey, here's a research paper that shows how to make AIs better. The Western labs implement it with their superior like hardware so they can just train it better and faster, and then go, wow, we've made an even better model. And then they try to claim that the Chinese people are the ones ripping them off, when it's like, but they're the ones publicly telling you how to make it better. They just don't have the hardware because America like explicitly told them that they weren't allowed to have the hardware. So it's a bit fucking strange that like all the videos I watch about the new breakthroughs of like AI, like whether it's like the Chinese have made an AI like, and it keeps crashing, like Nvidia keeps going up trillions of dollars and then going down trillions of dollars based on the AI, Chinese AI labs being like, hey, we did it with like, you know, old tech. And then it's like, oh, as the price crashes, it's like, we don't need the new CPUs. But then the Western labs come out and be like, well, we used the new ones and it was even better. And it's like, well, of course it was. We've already proven that bigger is always better with AI for some reason. So it's just funny that like the Chinese people are the ones that have the issue where they have to be innovative because they can't use the new chips. And then the fucking Western labs just take that innovation and put it on the new chips and then go, but we did better. Yeah, so my thing is, I don't think that the crash will ever like come like how people are expecting it. Like I keep watching stuff that talks about the crash and they refer like the .com bubble, where it's like the issue with the .com bubble wasn't the companies that actually made no sense. The companies that killed everything with the .com bubble were the companies that made sense. Like, so they talk about like, oh, pets.com that made zero profit and it was making like a couple of $1 million in revenue but was valued at hundreds of millions of dollars as a company. It's like, oh, what, how stupid were the investors? Like, but that's not the company that took down the fucking market when it went down. What took down the market was the people like Nvidia at the moment that were selling the shovels, where it was the like the companies making the hardware to run the internet. When the internet stopped expanding, they didn't have any money. and so the whole thing collapsed because they were worth billions of dollars and were actually making profit. But then suddenly, what they didn't realize was that their profit was entirely driven by the fact that it was continuously growing, and eventually it got big enough, and then the whole thing collapsed, and the bubble burst, and the whole thing fell over. And that's what they're saying. The issue with the AI is that Nvidia is starting to do the same like bookkeeping tricks to be like, no, but we're still making money as we sell stuff to people that we gave the money to buy from us. So it's like, but where did the money come from? And it's like, well, in reality, Nvidia is not making any profit. They're selling it at cost. But they're claiming that they're making billions of dollars in profit, because if they hadn't been giving the company money, they would have been making billions of dollars in profit, but they gave them the billions of dollars. So it's, yeah. So it will burst in the sense that, like, I don't think Nvidia will be the most valuable company in the world for a long time. But, yeah, so, yeah, in the case, the crash, I have these US, Yeah, yeah. But the key point being is that makes sense for OpenAI and Anthropic, which are the two leaders at the moment in the West. But it doesn't make sense for Google, Facebook, and Amazon, because those companies make billions of dollars a year. So the idea is that they actually could just keep shoveling money into into the pit for the rest of time, and they actually wouldn't lose any money, which is a scarier thing for the implication of the economy, in that, like, it goes to show that when they talk about the 7 companies that are the US economy, they really are the US economy. The reason it hasn't collapsed already is because the companies that are spending all the money are also the companies that are the economy. Like, Amazon makes so much money because it's got a hand in every single pie that it literally can just keep throwing money at the AI, and so much so that if it stopped throwing money at the AI, then all the money would just accumulate in Amazon. Like, that they have to basically keep funding AI, because if they stopped funding AI, then nobody would have any money. It's because it's all just going to Amazon. It's fucking insane. Yeah, compared to the blockchain. But that's what I kind of say. The blockchain was exactly the same thing. It was something for the big companies like Google to throw money at, because if they stop throwing money at it, then what the fuck else are they going to do with their billions of dollars of profit? Like, the issue is that a company should never really be making that much profit, because, like, that means the money isn't circulating. And like, I was talking to my brother about fucking taxes, and he's going, oh, well, the government takes 70% of our money in taxes. And I'm going, well, it doesn't make sense, because in Australia, our highest tax bracket is 65%. So it's like, the government can't be taking more, because that would imply that they're taxing you, like, on, like, higher than the highest bracket you can get to. If anything, they can only ever take less because you get rebates. But it's like, what he actually meant is that they're taking like 70% of all the money, in that when I get paid $100, they take their 30-something% because of the bracket that I'm in. And then when I buy something with that $70, they take their 30% from the person I gave it to, not me. So the money got taxed at an effective 70-80%. And I'm going, well, that's a space program. Well, that's kind of the scary thing, though, is that I personally think space programs should be run by governments, not private enterprise. And look at Elon Musk as his let's spend our money by sending the fucking space, the data centers to space. New energy sector, yeah. No, again, it runs into the issue of, one, you have to sell it to the investors. And for some reason, I don't know why, investors do not want green energy. It's probably something to do with the fact that once it's built, it's free, in that, like, it costs $1 billion to build a solar farm that can power the entire country, but, like, then it doesn't actually cost anything to maintain. Like, once it's built, it's built. And so for some reason, the investors don't see that as a good idea. It's probably because they all own the oil and gas companies that sell the oil and gas to the power plants. So they're kind of going, look, oh, but, like, sure, we'd make a lot of money now, but we wouldn't, like, in future. YouTube is not receiving enough video encoding. Oh, no. Yeah, I don't know. It's because it's hard to do that kind of thing. But yeah, there are lots of things that they could be usefully investing in. But my way of looking at that is very much, it's useful for everyone else, not for Google, in the sense of the government does that a lot, where they fund something. It's called fundamental research, I believe, or like base research, where it's like they did a bunch of research on massaging rats. And it was like the government paid for it, and it's going like, why the fuck are we wasting money finding out what happens when you massage rats? And then it turns out that actually, like, they learned a whole bunch of stuff, and it meant that they could save premature born babies because they found out that massaging them in a certain way did this stuff. But, like, the idea being that, like, yes, we could be throwing billions of dollars at things that benefit society, but the companies don't want to be doing that because they are then burning the money. Like, you can't convince your investors, and legally, Google actually can't do that, because if it's good for society but not good for the investor directly, it's a crime in America. For whatever fucking reason, they decided that their fiscal responsibility to the shareholder is the most important thing. So if the shareholders want to make money, Google has to spend it on something that will make a return. They can't just improve society for the sake of improving society. But yeah, so the idea would be that what America should be doing is effectively raising their taxes on those big companies and then spending that money on those things that the big tech companies could be spending their money on. Instead, they're going, oh no, but the big tech companies, they'll spend it on the right thing, like, capitalism. Let the companies decide where to spend their money. And the issue is that the companies have no incentive and also a legal, like, opposition. Like they legally can't just spend it on something for the greater good. They have to spend it on something that will make a return. And most things is like a capitalism short-term concept of it's like the idea of like, even though training your employees well, treating them right, and making them stay at your company for 10 years would be more profitable in 10 years, it is not more profitable in 2 years, and so you can't really do it. I watched a whole video talking about like Aldi, which is a German company that like, it's like a German supermarket, and they're going, why can this German supermarket get into these countries that are notoriously like monopolies, and you can't do it because economies of scale is the only way to do supermarkets. Like they're not, you can't do a small supermarket, it just doesn't work. And it's like, it turns out because Aldi is not owned by shareholders and is owned by a single family, they literally can go in and do like the long-term play of train your employees, pay them better, and in the end they know that that will pay back, whereas a supermarket can't do that. A supermarket like literally has to go in, has to leverage itself as far as it fucking can, take as much debt as it can, and then pay interest for the next 10 years. So what ends up happening is that the supermarket can theoretically like compete because it gets to the economies of scale, but like Aldi can compete because Aldi has no costs. Aldi buys the piece of land outright and doesn't pay interest, and because they're not paying interest, that 10% interest that they would be paying like on their lease or whatever, they can just not put in their profit margin, and therefore they can be cheaper. And it's also like they only supply like one of every product. They have like 2,000 products that they stock, and it's like, it's insane because even Costco, which is notorious for having like a low product range, has 6,000, and then most supermarkets have between 60 and 100,000 products. So it's like they basically sell nothing, but they sell one of everything that you could want. They just don't give you the choice. Like there's like one flavor of chip, not every flavor of chip you could imagine. So it's interesting that like a lot of our issues come from the way that like investment and shares and all that have been structured, and it's that scary thing that Trump got in and he's changed all the stuff. So that, like, that's what crypto was so fucking stupid about, was the idea that like, sure, crypto on its own would have been fine because it was conceptually a useful idea of having like a decentralized money. The issue was as soon as people realized that they could make money off of it, then it became a vector for investment that wasn't regulated. And then everything that happened in crypto was exactly the same things that happened in the share market. When the share market first happened, people would artificially raise the price by lying publicly, and then like they'd buy it while it's cheap, and then they'd raise the price by saying something, oh, it's going to go up, it's going to keep going up, and then they'd sell it. And so it's like, and all these things became illegal in shares, but not in fucking crypto for some reason, because they were different things. And it's like every company keeps fucking doing this, where they're like different thing, you know, and it's yeah, it drives me insane that they keep like calling it something else and then being like, but now the regulations don't apply, let's do the same fucking shit that we decided years ago was not the fucking right thing to do. It drives me insane. It's the same as another thing is like capitalism is not what America calls capitalism. Capitalism is the idea that we should let some people own the things that make things, because that's what capital is. So like 3 things needed to make something, like, or to make value you need 3 things. It's land, capital, and labor. And for some reason we've decided that we should allow people to decide where capital is and own capital, and that's resulted in this thing that my brain's slowly going to sleep as I rant on about capitalism, where it's like people keep thinking that communism means no money, and it's like, no, communism means that the government, or like not even the government, is just literally stands for like commune, where it's like a group of people that work to. So it's like the idea of like, instead of the landowner or the landlord owning the factory, everyone that works there has a share in the factory, and so everyone pays a little bit to cover the cost of maintaining the factory. But it also means that you're not paying someone who all they did was supply the factory. And that's the difference between communism and capitalism, is that whether someone is allowed to own the factory outright, or whether and not work in the factory. And it's weird because people do this whole like, oh no, you know, it's this, the communists are trying to take everything. I was like, no, the communists are trying to say that maybe we should all get like compensated based on the actual amount of shit that we contributed, not quote from the SF book, the dead hand of societies the financial interests of the elite. They govern us so that they can continue to govern. Yeah, yeah, basically. We have a shocking ability for our markets to become quite stale, because that was what the idea of the financial institutions was that they allowed money to move faster. They allowed someone to decide that this factory was doing the old method and it would better do the new method, so they would be able to start their own company by funding it through this financial sector. And then now the financial sector is all about basically saying, well, you're not already an established company, so we're going to give the established company billions of dollars instead of like taking a gamble on a new company. I also like that I think it's venture capital is very much the shotgun approach of they literally will give every single company $1 million for 10% of the company, because if any of those companies become worth $1 billion, now you like, if you take 1,000 shots in the dark at 10% and get $1 billion, it's like now you've just made like hundreds of millions of dollars back. So it's like, just take shots in the dark. And it's so annoying that like the people that have the good ideas aren't the people that make money. It's the people that give them the money to be able to follow their dream that actually make the money. And it's just insane that that's how our economy is structured. Uber was another one that did that, where it was very much blitz scaling of, they effectively said, keep giving us money and eventually we'll beat the competition. And then as soon as they did, they raised all the prices. And it's yeah, kind of insane. And for a while there, it was postulated that Uber would fail because they didn't think they could ever raise the prices and continue functioning. So it was very much every investor that sold and made money from Uber until Uber turned a profit was very much selling their shares because they thought that that was as big as it was going to get, and the next person would be left holding the bag. And eventually it did become profitable, and now it's one of the largest employers in the world that pays like zero of the benefits that any other company in the world would have to pay. Like, there's no way Uber could function if they had to pay the benefits that a normal company has to pay. Let's call it Voxel Quest. Idle / incremental. I think I'm not actually designing anything. We're just bitching about AI because someone said, like, before the stream even started, that they don't like that they're unsubscribing because I said vibe coding. Platforms, desktop, target audience, me, team size 1, planned timeline, okay, so high concept. Describe the core fantasy and what makes the game compelling. Okay, so high concept. The game will be a multi-scale world exploration. We'll just probably do this as dot points. So, well, multi-exploration scale. You will be able to locally modify modify the world, but no change will be permanent. Traveling and acting on high scales will be faster but equivalent to doing the same on small scale. Okay. High concept. I don't know if I did that right. Pillars. I assume pillars is something along the lines of voxel based. Yep. That's what I get super distracted by basically anything. So I sometimes have to try and stay on top of the game. So my idea, like conceptually, like because I was talking to someone about this and they're like, oh, that sounds really cool, is that it's like Minecraft style, like world gen, like procedural generation, where it's like everything is procedurally generated, but like on a dwarf fortress scale of like detail kind of thing. But I want to make it so you can't modify the world, which means that I can use the procedural generation, and like as long as we keep the same seed, means that you can like enter and exit a chunk, and you don't have to save that chunk to disk. Like the issue with Minecraft on really big servers is that if people travel through a world, it has to save the changes. Like, oh, don't change. Every chunk that gets generated has to be saved, because it's like, well, if a mob moves or a piece of grass grows, now it's not the same. So my way of wanting to do it is to say, like, every time you leave a chunk or come back to a chunk, it regenerates it. So the idea being that you're not actually allowed to make any permanent changes. Like, you won't be able to like dig dirt, but you could potentially cut down a tree, because I don't know what scale I want the time to run at, but the idea being that if you cut down a tree and you come back, the tree might be in a different spot, or like that kind of thing. But the way like to have those kinds of impacts of like you're cutting down too many trees, or you're not and you're not planting enough trees back, is to have like a treeness value that's passed into the generator. So the idea being that like if you cut down a lot of trees and don't plant new saplings and then leave a chunk and come back, the chunk will like update a higher level map saying, hey, like my biodiversity has gone down, or my treeness basically has gone down. Which means that when you go back in, instead of rolling like a 50% chance every time a tree is generated to actually spawn the tree, it now rolls like I think Minecraft saves the whole chunk. Like Minecraft is, once the chunk is generated, it saves a disk. Like there is no way. But yeah, basically that's what I'm going for, is not necessarily like to save the differences, but to like effectively tweak the parameters used to generate the chunk to affect it. Because I was thinking it'd be really cool to have like a Minecraft game where if you keep cutting down trees and don't replant them, then like slowly like the environment becomes more and more inhospitable. So think like Factorio with its pollution is like, imagine like how, because Factorio actually does this, like the trees slowly die if you make too much pollution. The thing I don't think Factorio does is I don't think the trees have like an amount of pollution they can absorb without dying. I think it's literally like if they absorb 200 pollution over the course of the entire time that the tree's around, it dies. Like it's not like it, as long as you're giving it less than 10 per hour or something, it will live forever. I think it is just purely like the more trees there are, the more pollution it can absorb before the whole forest is dead. But I want that kind of idea, but like in a voxel Minecrafty game where it's like, if you're making too much pollution, then you kill all the trees. Or like how in Minecraft, the mobs just infinitely respawn, the passive mobs just infinitely respawn. And I'm like, it'd be really cool if you breed the pigs to a certain level and then leave the area and come back, then it's like half the pigs will despawn, but they get like put into like just a number instead of actually having entities. And be like, hey, so it's like there's 1,000 pigs in this general biome, like this biome that's made up of how many chunks. This biome has 10,000 pigs in it. So when you're walking around, it might just spawn in a cluster of pigs and be like, hey, and so now we deduct, now there's like only 995 pigs in the reserve because we spawned 5 in. And then when they despawn, it's like, well, now we put them back in the reserve. And so if you go around and breed lots of pigs, then as you're running around in this area, there'll be more bigger chunks of pigs because there's more pigs in reserve. But like, you can actually just kill the pigs and then never again will a pig spawn. So I want that kind of like, the environment reacts to what you're doing to it. Like if you just keep killing everything, then eventually it'll die. Or if you, I guess technically, if you're farming it too quickly, like if you can't. And there was a game called like Eco that I don't know if they did this, because I think they were just more like simulating a small ecosystem. Whereas I want to do more of the level of like heat map of being like the animal distribution looks like this because you keep cutting down the trees. Like it, and like if you cut down too many trees, then the forest is no longer a forest tile, and if it's not a forest tile, then it can't generate mobs, and like passive mobs, and if the passive mobs like need X number of tiles, like forest tiles, to be able to have a sustainable population. Otherwise, their population decreases by 10% every time step. That kind of thing. And the idea being that like I wanted to do different levels. So I made a game called Extra Dimensional. I think it's on my itch. Where's my one of these? So we're gonna go to itch. Let's open the Bevy Jam one. So if I go to my itch, I think I made a game called Extra Dimensional, and the way that this game worked, I think it plays in the browser, but it might be broken, is that you can run around on a hexagon grid, and then you can go down into a very loud. Yeah, no, it still crashes. I don't think I ever patched it. Oops. Anyway, when you do that, so you can run around, you go in, and then maybe it is doing it and I'm not able to look around. Why can I not look around? Anyway, the idea is that like if you go in here and it's just an empty square, but if you go in on this one, it's a cobalt block, and it's a 16 by 16 by 16 square with cobalt ore scattered throughout. Well, not even cobalt ore. It is the ore block. Like so in Minecraft, where every like we have an ore block where it's just mostly stone with some blue squares. It's like each of those blue squares was a block in my thing, where it's like you could mine the stone around it, or you could just target the blue squares. And so it's that idea of being like, if you keep mining it out, then the ore richness will go down, and that will change how the generation works. So there's less and less blue squares when you generate a chunk of ore. But like there's no persistent map. Like if you leave and come back, it'll just regenerate it like exactly the same if you didn't mine anything, and like probably exactly the same even if you did mine a whole bunch. But because like, and that's why it's going to be an idle game, is it needs that ability to not break if too many resources are generated. So the idea being that like if you find a really rich coal vein, you can keep like just leaving and going back and regenerating the chunk to mine the rich coal vein because it's more efficient for you. But it's like eventually you'll decrease the richness of the coal chunk, and then it'll stop generating the same coal structure, because like if we did it on like a, you know, there's a, as the richness goes down, the percentage chance that it goes, hey, so like it rolls its random number generator, goes, hey, we're going to generate coal here, and then it rolls a richness check and goes, actually, never mind, this chunk isn't rich enough in the ore to generate that specific block. So when you regenerate a chunk, it will look different depending on the player's actions, but like it's not persistent. And I was talking about the next layer up being that like if you were at like the Minecraft scale where each block is 1 meter and you walked so many kilometers, I want it to generate the same map whether you're generating like every chunk in between, or if you go up a layer and then like where it's like, you know, each block is now a kilometer and you walk 10 blocks and then go back down. I want it to be the same chunks generated as if you walked there on the layer below. And the idea being that you should be able to like scale down and up different like layers and do dumb things like scroll down all the way to like the molecular level and mine out specific atoms, and then change what ore is like, or what mineral is present. And then it's like when you go back up, it updates the block so that now that chunk generates that new mineral because you mined out all the iron in it, or you added a bunch of iron back in. I don't know. I think of like an interesting concept of being able to like explore things on different scales using a voxel generator, so that like you don't have to actually generate every voxel down to a certain size. Algorithm driven worlds. So I'm going to say something like non-persistent changes with but long-term impact on world generation. Like the idea being that like if you release a whole bunch of pollution, you could raise the global temperatures, which then means that whenever you generate a chunk that has a sea block in it, then the sea level is higher because you raised the global temperatures and it raised sea level, which I think would be really kind of funny. Or being like, oh fuck, I've got to do something in modifying the world in some way to lower the global temperature to make it so I can cross the ocean because the sea level's too high. It just seems like such a weird like vibe of a game. But like that's why it does need to be incremental and idle game style of like, it's about exploring a world but tweaking your resource production in order to be able to explore the world. I don't know. That makes so I don't know what I'm going to do with the other pillars. Unique selling points. I don't know. I don't know what the unique selling points would be. Open source. Made on stream / YouTube videos. Who knows? Player experience. What should the player feel? Oh no, that's 100%. Like you've just summed it up. The Dwarf Fortress, but an idle game. Like more in the other way around of being, it's more like I want to make a Dwarf Fortress style game that uses the idle element. So like, because it's a concept I want to use in my dinosaur game that I have not worked on in like 3 years. But like what I wanted to do in that is have it like, if you place down a building like a restaurant in Jurassic World Evolution, which is what like a lot of my design was based on, you could tweak things, like you could put a fountain in and it made it more appealing to a certain type of guest, but that's all it did, is it tweaked 4 numbers. And I went like, you know, how appealing it was to each of the 4 different guests, and like, as long as you were above the threshold, then you got maximum value. And I'm like, it'd be really cool if instead they let you design the interior, and depending on how you design the interior would change those things. But like, to make the game actually be able to run at a reasonable speed, what you do is you simulate the interior at different like numbers of guests, like, and for different lengths of time. So you basically go, can it have a throughput, like what's its throughput? So you test like at 10 guests per tick, at 20 guests per tick, at 300 guests per tick. So you can simulate it at like a different time scale and everything. And then now you have like basically like an algorithm, like a formula to tell you what the throughput would be at a specific, you know, and the profitability of that particular building at a certain like rate. And the idea would be you'd run that simulation if they made a change to the building, and if not, you just render the building and you go, hey, like this is the value. So it's like a way of turning like cellular automata into waveform functions that then can be used to accelerate the simulation on the higher levels. And like each higher level can then also simulate with the waveforms of the lower levels until you do get down to that cellular automata level. And as I say, it's Dwarf Fortress, but imagine if you could turn your fortress into a block on the map, like a cell on the map, build another fortress next to it that trades with it, and the trade, you know, exchange is calculated based on what your fort would actually be able to manufacture if you were simulating it. And then once it's worked that out, it just now runs the simulation. And so the issue you start running into with those kinds of things is like Dwarf Fortress, obviously there are actual veins of ore that you can find that would change your ability to make certain types of items like gem goblets and stuff like that. So it requires the actual number of gems. You need to actually find them. Whereas I'm going like, but what happens if you say calculated how many gems they could turn in and then made them have to trade for that to do it externally? But then now the whole thing can be simulated as like you don't need to actually run all 200 or 500 or whatever dwarves and calculate their exact paths. And so you can just sort of average it out and be like, okay, so over the next hour, this is how it trends. And once you know, like, oh, it's stabilized, those are your values. And now you don't need to simulate anything. You can just use those values because they're stable. And I don't know, I think it'd be an interesting concept. But yeah, it's Dwarf Fortress. The idle game thing is tacked on top of being like I think there needs to be a reason, like, technically, when I'm saying idle game, I'm calling Factorio an idle game in this regard, where the goal is to just make number go up. Not idle game like you don't sit there, like you can't sit there and play the game. It's idle game like the idea being that like you manually mining coal, you could do it, but it might take so long. So instead, you build something that allows you to build something that allows you to build something that mines coal faster. And that kind of like level of like idle game where it's like it's about increasing productivity over time with technology and buildings, as opposed to the idle game where it's like idle, like you don't sit and play, which I guess is why I'm calling it incremental game, like incremental idleness. There was another game, I think it was called like Dark Forest. I wonder if it still exists, because it's one of those, I played it when I was a kid and I don't know if it exists anymore. I really need to work out which one of these fucking tabs is my fucking one that I keep pulling across for YouTube. I think I keep closing it for a second. I think it's called a dark room. Let's make sure we don't accidentally start playing games on stream. That's all we do for the rest of the stream is just play it. Yeah. So it's like maybe inspired by this as a form of idle game, where it's like, so you light the fire and then it's like it takes a while for the fire to be lit. And my idea being like it's a voxel game, so you could walk around while the fire is lit, and then eventually the fire you lit the fire and stoke the fire, and it's like the fire is roaring, and then you wait, So the idea being that like as an idle game, it's just a bar emptying, and I want it to be an actual like voxel game where you could walk around the room while you chuck sticks on. But in reality, it's just doing this in the background. It's just going, oh yeah, eventually we're gonna go to like the progression, and eventually so the room is cold, and then you keep stoking it. And a ragged stranger stumbles in. So it's like after so many stokes that, or like after a certain timer that we can't see tick, then something happens that progresses the story-ish bit, and then I don't remember when it happened. Yeah, so eventually we start running out of wood. So it's like now we unlock a new layer. So this layer is the production production layer, and then this layer is the outside, so you can gather wood, which increases this, and then eventually you build a town, and then eventually you get a map that you can go exploring on. It's that idea of like the different layers, but the idle game being that like it's the need for wood that pushes you into the layer that where you have to gather. It's the need to keep the fire burning. You have to keep going up to the forest layer. If that makes sense, like it's a. I want the depth and complexity of Dwarf Fortress, but the ability to keep growing numbers exponentially of an idle game. Feel become over time. The player should feel a constant need to explore to find new / better deposits of resources they need to grow and expand production. Something like that. Also, I have no idea how to get rid of these yellow lines that are coming from whatever. So something about heading should be segmented by a blank line. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, okay. I also have no idea how to make it actually render the markdown, because like the idea of markdown is it should be easy to read. Anyway. Get rid of these goddamn yellow lines. Fix the thing. But Dwarf Fortress as an idle game is just a funny concept in my head of being like, yeah, that sums it up pretty well. I also want to see what happens if you make a ray tracing thing where you don't project the rays onto a flat plane first, and instead you just treat all the rays as coming from the middle of the player's head. That just seems funny to me. Anyway. Right, so... I don't know. So yeah, the player should feel a constant need to explore and find new, better deposits of resources. They need to expand and grow production. The player will, by choosing how they increase production, the player will, by choosing how they increase production, affect the world around them, making some resources easier and others harder to get. For example, increasing global temperature. Might raise the sea levels, making access to water easier, but flooding areas that were previously accessible. Something like that. Okay. I don't know what it's complaining about now. Unordered list indentation. This should be separated by a blank line. Okay, weird. Okay, so session type. I assume this is more talking about like the small loops that you would end up with. So it's like gather or collect single items slash resources. And then the medium session would be automate the growth, the creation of items and resources. And then the long term would be to automate the automation and fine-tune long-term impact on world, something like that. So again, like to use that Factorio as like a templatey thing would be to say like, okay, I guess technically, maybe it should be like extreme long term is to fine tune this. But like, yeah, so the idea with that would be like, if Factorio didn't have walls and guns to keep the biters away, and so the only way to stop them would be to like effectively scale your factory until the factory was at a level where the biters weren't impacted anymore. Like imagine if like when the pollution, if the pollution got too concentrated in one place, it would kill the biters, but like otherwise it would cause them to evolve if it was at a certain threshold, and below a certain threshold it does nothing. So it's like the idea being that like you have to really crank up the pollution in a certain spot to kill the biters, but then dial the pollution back, because obviously infinite world, it keeps expanding to the biters, means that like the idea being like you have some kind of way of clearing out biters, but not you can just build a wall and then ignore them for the rest of time, make as much pollution as you like. It's like, no, at a certain point you have to dial in the amount of pollution that your factory makes to balance the amount of pollution that the biters can absorb. That kind of idea. So like, and that's I guess why mine would be like less factored on the biters. Like thing with Factorio is you can just build enough guns to keep the biters out, whereas if I'm going, hey, like the sea levels might rise if you make too much pollution, you can't exactly just, I guess you could wall everything in so that as the sea levels raise, or like build everything into domes. It'd be kind of funny to do that, where it's like, which is easier? Do you encase everything in domes so that it's really hard to expand, and then say fuck it, make as much pollution and we'll flood the world, or do you go with we'll tone back pollution to do certain things? Because the other thing would be like agriculturally speaking, if you keep upping pollution, then the concept would be like, if the world's getting hotter, the plants grow less efficiently, and then if you have a certain product that relies on plants, then you can't get that as easily as you. So the idea being that like you can't just ignore the pollution like you can in Factorio. Like as long as you can kill the biters, you can ignore the pollution that you make. Whereas I'm thinking, imagine if as you made more pollution, certain things became less efficient, so you can't make more pollution, which they might have in Space Age. I haven't expanded off the main planet in Space Age, but like that idea of being like, you can't just ignore it because it would actually negatively impact. Like if you have like the one's production is dependent on the other's production, means that you can't just ignore it. Accessibility goals, input accessibility. Keyboard? I don't know. Keyboard. And now and controller. Visual accessibilities? Probably not. Audio accessibilities? I don't even do like subtitles like Minecraft. That seems a little too ambitious. Gameplay goals. Player does load chunk. Okay, explores. Explores. Game responds with generating world. Player earns knowledge and resources. Player invests into better exploration ability. Loop repeats with increased complexity by needing rare, needing more rare and spaced out resources. Secondary loop, progression loop. Technology for scale, differing. Technology for differing scale. Economic loop. I don't know. Okay, so technology for differing scales of travel. So my thinking is like, if you build a road, then the speed that you can travel on a road would be faster. And then also as you generate chunks, like the roads, and also the different tech levels of the road. So like if you build a cobblestone road, when you generate those chunks the road is on, the cobblestone road would quite clearly be cobblestone. Like, and then like different bitumen and this and that. So economy loop would be build cities and towns that can produce specific resources. Exploration loop. Different scales of travel and production. Okay, exploration loop. So I don't know. Search. Search for more efficient places to produce some specific resources. Okay, metal loop, long-term goals. Respond to impact on environment and changes. What can the player? Where can the player go wrong? Kill all of our species, making it extinct. How does the player recover? Bring a different species, like making it maybe locally extinct. Bring in bring population from elsewhere on the map to repopulate the world, the area, local area, something like that. So if you kill all the pigs in a biome, then you have to go find another biome that has pigs in it to bring all the pigs back. I kind of like really want to just like start programming something, but I do feel like I need to finish at least some of this fleshing out. So world structure, multi-layer voxel. Design. Generation approach. Simplex noise. With multi level. Reseeding, maybe. Okay. Biomes and regions. Dependent on layer. Okay. Traversal. By foot. Quite a nice. Okay. Player interaction. This is getting kind of boring. I think we need to pull the AI back in and be like, hey, can you elaborate? So let's just say, can you read plan.md and expand on it? Sure. It's going to do that. Fucking don't compliment me, AI. So I'm going to expand the unfinished sections into a particular drive, clear and concrete milestones, technical architecture, testing, and first sprite action you can okay. The question is, do I just like start implementing Bevy code? So we would like something like use, let new app equals app equal plugins run mod camera. Well, I guess it's player. So it's gonna fucking worst. Okay, so we're gonna say new file player.rs mod map. New file and say map.rs. Okay. So player. Okay, so whenever I really want to re-implement my voxel shader because I think it's kind of funny. Why the fuck are you broken? Rust analyzer failed to load workspace, failed to read metadata. What do you mean? Did you what? Wait, what? The fuck? Why does it just say gibberish? Okay, strange. Did the AI do that? Okay, so what did it say? It says expand plan so into a real draft design logic, the idea fleshed out into concrete editable content, update the file, what I said, turn overview into a scoped solo dev plan for realistic timelines failing, reworked vision pillars into a clear document of Voxel design game, fill player experience, accessibility and core loop, fail recovery and okay, let's keep that then. All right, so let's have a look at what it actually did. Right, so Voxel Quest, the player is Voxel Quest is a deterministic multi-scale exploration and automation game where the player gathers resources. Yeah, I don't necessarily think it's automation. It's like more like city building, but like maybe City Skylines level city building where you like designate a zone and then like that the game like based on how well you're doing stuff maybe. Okay. In a voxel world and gradually build product systems that run while idle. Local changes are temporary, but the player's choices permanently affect world generation pressures and economic efficiency. Okay, acting at a large scale is faster but equivalent in simulation value to detailed local play. Okay, pillars. Deterministic voxel world. Same seed plus tiles. Tile equals same layout. Multi-scale interaction. Local, regional, global decisions. Not quite what I meant, but anyway. Temporary edit. Permanent systemic consequences. Okay, idle growth through automation and logistics. Player-driven economical trade-offs. Okay, this is what I mean by like the AI is really good because I wrote out some kind of dot points and it's just making them clearer. It's not changing what I meant it. Okay, fully deterministic exploration loop for discovery and replayability. World economy reasoned to indicate behavior, not scripted events. Okay. Yeah, individual behavior. Okay. Transparent open development. Okay. The player should feel constant curiosity and motivation, explore, discover, optimize, and scale. Growth should feel earned through understanding systems, not grinding through random outcomes. The player should make meaningful trade-offs where increased productivity changes ecological conditions, making some resources easier and others harder to obtain. Example, increased global temperatures, raise sea levels, improving water access, but flooding previously productive land. Okay, yes. Gather targeted resources, claim one update, queue one automatic task, build, optimize one production chain, and unlock one travel velocity upgrade, rework regional strategy and adjust economic impact for long-term economic gains. Okay. Accessibility goals, keyboard mouse baseline, controller support in phase 2, remapping key bindings. Okay, visualize UI slide. Okay. Okay, player does explore tile region, gather resources manually. Game responds with deterministic world generation and agrees to updates. Okay, player earns resources, discoveries, and production knowledge. Tools automatically. Okay. I don't know how long I'm going to be live. Probably not too long because I do want to actually work on videos. Less than I'm running through a prompt. It's more like I'm reading the game dev thing. I intend to implement the game. I don't want to just run vibe code on this, and it would be interesting to see what it spits out, but I actually want enough control that I can like specifically control things. And I found that if I like vibe coded from here, it would not be at all human editable. But I'm thinking maybe another 2 hours. But I actually want to do some game dev in that time. I'm just reading through this to make sure it's actually like not put something stupid in here that like later on will confuse the hell out of me when I'm not in the same headspace. Okay, loop repeat within require rare resources and better regional planning. Secondary loops, progression loop, unlock technologies for better travel and larger production throughput. Okay, economic loop. Okay, find more efficient biomes and optimize route planning. Meta loop, long-term goals, adapt the environment, shift causes by individual changes. Okay, what can go wrong with the player? Local species collapse, supply bottlenecks, and over specialized economics. How player responds, reintroduce species from other regions, use restriction tech, pivot economic strategy. Okay. System breakdown, world structure, multi-layered voxel simulation with local tile grouped into regions and global climate layer generation approach, coordinate seeded deterministic noise stack, base terrain plus biomass mask plus that's actually a really cool idea, but I think maybe it's smaller scope game than this. My only plan to use agents for anything in this particular thing would be like getting it to generate like a camera or something like that. That's actually like really cool. I like the idea of turning the AI into a developer and being like, please make a devlog for me, and just like having the AI do its own thing. That would be really funny to do. If you tricked the AI into being a YouTuber and like just like animate its devlogs of like what I did. That'd be actually kind of funny. I think it would annoy everyone even more than the vibe coding if I pivoted my YouTube channel into being I am an AI now, but it is really funny, and yet also very, like you said, very useful. Okay, we probably don't need all of this stuff. We just need Bevy, and then we're just gonna leave this for now. I don't know how the fuck I have broken the fuck out of this. We're gonna delete this. I don't know how the AI managed to break the this. This is an encounter error not found. File not found. Cargo.toml. It's right there. What do you mean? I'm concerned that when I go back in here, it's going to be gone. No, it's working now. So can I get you to please restart? Hey, you seem to be working now. Okay. Go back to read the plan. So well designed. So it's multi-layer. Yeah, okay. So coordinates seeded domestic. Okay. So biome regions: forests, wetland, plains, mountains, coastal, each with distinct resource distributions. Okay. Traversal on foot, easy way, then traverse. Transport network and strategically fast travel air. Okay, interesting. No. Okay, so look around here. Okay. Resource and economy: wood, fiber, stone, water, biomass, metal, ore, energy, resources. Okay. Progression and unlocks. Difficulty and balance. Honestly, I didn't write any of that stuff, so I don't care. I am going to start implementing shit because I'm kind of getting bored of just reading. So we're gonna go something like this. I'm gonna say like prelude, Bevy prelude, like this. And then we go down here and we say plugin, init plugin, and there's a player plugin. Right. So then we just need something like component player. This is a marker component, just player, and then spawn player, and we go, hey, can we say spawn this? Yeah, I think I'll go for another until like 2 o'clock my time, which is 2.5 hours. I probably should set an alarm for that so I don't miss it. So I'll probably be here. Let me set an alarm for we'll set an alarm for 2 hours from now, maybe. Like 10 to 2. And then I'll start wrapping up at 10 to 2. So 3 hours and 20 minutes, I reckon. No, that's the wrong. No, 10 to 2, not 2:50. Okay. Okay, 2 hours and 20 minutes. All right. Enjoy lunch. Yeah. Okay, so my question is, can I think there was a way you can like open a chat window that's like a window, so then it like knows where you are. So first of all, I want to spawn the player, and spawning the player is just going to be a camera 3D default and player. Player. Okay, then we're going to say fn move player. Right. So this is where we're going to do some, like, again, more like kind of vibey things, but like we're still going to keep it very narrow on what the fuck we're actually doing with this thing. Why is the Rust analyzer still broken? What is your problem? Please tell me what the fuck you spat out. So what did you say? You said cannot compile Bevy design and Bevy accurate due to previous errors. Winker. What? Okay, we're not going to do that because I fear this is the kind of thing that keeps crashing my computer, is whatever it's trying to touch. Can I just get you to like restart? Also, what did you call this game? No, this is Vox idle game. Please compile. So we're gonna go player, and we're gonna go here, and we're gonna go, where the fuck that window go? going to say, hey, can you import a player by a camera? It should move local to camera space, but normalized to XZ plane. Alright, well, let's first off, let's add some other stuff. So we're gonna go like, this is a derive. But basically, this is me steering the AI, because I know what I want, like, my settings struct to look like. Struct. Player. Okay, move bindings. Something like this. So like this is how I want my settings thing to look like, and I'll probably rework it later, but anyway. Also, I want to say something like this is player entity, like that, right? Because then I want to do something, just again, like it's way of like expanding my ability to do stuff as a dev. I'm gonna derive param, system param, right? And we're gonna go struct player, which is going to take in like W and S and Q, where query data, and then we're going to say query something like this, which is WS, not entity, but it's with player entity. It's Q, something like that, I reckon. So what are you saying? You're saying you can't do this because this. What does query require this to be? So it requires D to be query data and F to be query filter, right? Do you have like a requirement that F that something, right? So unsay something state. No, you don't care about that. So D is F. Why are you saying that? Okay, so it's world query. So what are you saying? So D has to be query data, so why can't I put D here? I don't quite get that one. So D, which is query data, non-exhaustive pattern, covered. What? I don't get it. Expected reference to query? No, that's not clearly not how that works. Is it supposed to be here? No. Alright, never mind, we're not doing that. I was trying to make it so you like query the player and give like what you want from the player, and then it would get the player, but that obviously didn't work. Anyway, so we want to go like keyboard input, move bindings, player, like user player, and query mute transform with player entity. Okay. So now we can ask the thing, and we can be like, hey, what I like we're doing it this way. I should, in theory, be able to pick up any errors the player makes, because I know how to implement this kind of controller. It's just tedious. So I'm getting the AI to do it, and then I'll fix what it gets wrong and ask it to make modification. I found player currently structure, current scaffold, scaffolded, and main never adds the player plugin. Yuck. Please, no. Did you fucking? You better not have done something in main. Okay, we did add the player plugin, that's fine. So what are you doing? So you're inserting the resources, move bindings, and the fly camera settings. Okay. And we like say startup and update, which is spawn player and move player. Yep. Okay, so player camera default, transform from XYZ looking at 0, 0, player and entity. Okay, that's fine. So we can keep this, and we can keep this because they both look fine. I don't know what this is doing. Just vibe. No, the just vibing with the AI is a lot of fun, but it means that it very quickly makes your code untouchable. Like I have a project that was this is like purely vibed, and the issue is that like I have no idea what files I'd be looking in for anything. Like it's all just like I had to tell the AI to stop putting it all in this file because it made that file 3,000 lines long. Like the just vibing is not my way of doing vibe coding. I call it vibe coding because vibe coding is the term that everyone uses, but it's like I'm very much going for the I'm using the AI to fill in stuff that I could do myself and like leave it in a way. So it removes the input because that was wrong. Good. And so put button input, put time, which is good. It put settings. Where are the settings of the movement? But cool. We should probably have a look speed, but anyway, player move. So we can say mute transform in player. So apparently we're going to actually do this mutably for every player, which is incorrect. But anyway, we can fix that. Okay, so from mute transform in player, so that forward, and then forward is transform.forward y equals 0 transform y 0. Yeah, so this is what I want, because this means that this piece of code is it setting it to not care about what y. So if you're looking straight down or straight up, you still move on the xy plane. Like so, basically it goes, hey, which way's forward? I guess technically you don't move, you're looking straight up. Then it removes the y aspect and renormalizes it so that it's now pointing at the same strength. And then we say that right is the same thing. We remove the y component of the right direction. So then we add the input and we track the forward, backwards, left, and right, and then move direction. So it's right times and forward times this, normalize or 0. Good. This is what I like about AI, is that I would have forgotten to normalize in 0. Maybe not. And I definitely wouldn't have forgotten to normalize on these two, but I would have definitely like not done that or 0. And I probably would have forgotten to do it down here, which means that moving diagonally would be faster. And then we said transform.translation plus equals direction, move direction times settings, move speed, delta seconds. Sure. I'm going to make a slight modification myself, but only, why is it not all one thing? Okay, keep. I think I could have done that like all in one go, but anyway, we're going to go down here. We're going to say actually that the player is single, and then we can just go away like this, and then we just have to modify this to say player, and this to be player, and this to also be player. And I don't think it needs to be dereferenced because I'm pretty sure forward is just forward. Oh no, that's why it's dereferencing it, because it's getting the vector inside. Okay, cool. Just because I think single's better, and single will also mean that the game will start to crash if, for example, I fuck up and spawn multiple players with cameras. Like, multiple players, but kind of multiple players with cameras. Actually, you could, because there's no distinction between the main player or not. Anyway, we do need to make like a fn spawn test cube. Cube. Can we spell the word cube correctly, please? Thank you. Mute command. Commands, and then we just say we need asset server as well. I found out that you can like just stick shit in with the asset server, and I love doing that now. Instead of actually loading anything, you just go like asset server. So first off, stop being confused. It's mesh 3D, and then you say asset server dot add. And then you say mesh from cuboid. So you don't actually have to bring in from length. Like you don't have to bring in the mesh assets. You can just stick them into the asset server and it'll automatically add them in the right spot. But I like doing that because it means that like, instead of having to bring in mesh and Oh, something through it. There is 100% something wrong with my computer. Why did my linker fail? Who fucking knows? Can you show the game design that you are going for? I assume you have done the design phase from what the game is about. Behave. So we got the game design document, which was like the first couple of hours of the stream. Actually, the first like hour or two of the stream was me bitching about how everyone seemed to have a problem with AI, and also like the ethical issues with AI that I have, but also like the benefit of AI is it's very much like my issue is with who's using it and how they're using it, not the actual technology. Anyway, these are the game design things. So the idea is to do like a multi-layer voxel thing. So you explore. What I should do is I should open Git and like commit this to Git. And so that like then if you wanted to open it and like actually read it rather than me just scrolling around. So we have to go something like add existing repository, browse, go to YouTube, go to projects. I think I called it new Voxel. No, yeah, Voxel Idle Games like this. Add repository, and then we're gonna go push. Yeah, publish repository, and it's just going to be called idle game. It's publish idle game. Okay, so what was it going? So yeah, the idea of the thing is it's going to be like a multi-layer voxel thing, so you can like walk around on like a Minecraft scale, but then you could also like zoom out to like a regional level where each block is like much bigger. Like each block is a chunk rather than each block is a block, and then you can also zoom like down a layer, and the idea being like you can have like ecological impact, I guess would be the way of viewing it, where it's like if you cut down a tree and you leave and come back to a chunk, the tree might be back, but the way that it works is when it regenerates the chunk, you've lowered the chunk's treeness, and that treeness means that it may not regenerate the tree because you cut down a tree. And the idea, like the idle incrementally style of it, is that instead of it being like, oh, you have to like directly impact the world, it's like I need some kind of way of being able to be like, hey, you need to gather more wood. So it's like you can choose how you gather the wood, if it's a sustainable or not sustainable way kind of thing. And then like because the numbers go up means that like you can do different things. I guess it's eventually. I don't know why my fucking linker keeps failing. Why is it failing? Some arguments were omitted. Fail error. Incompatible PDB. What? Delete and rebuild. Okay. Delete. Delete permanently. Delete. What have I done? Why do you keep crashing? Let's start again. I fucked this up the other day because I updated to the latest like nightly compiler, the 1.96, and the ABI changed in Rust between those two versions, so it kept this throwing errors saying that the ABIs were incompatible. I'm like, but I completely deleted and recompiled everything. How are the ABIs still incompatible? So it must be caching something somewhere that's causing issues. So nightly compatible versions, waiting in the files, and then compiling everything, and we just hope and pray that it doesn't crash my computer like it did earlier when before I started the stream. I have no idea why my computer keeps randomly crashing. Something keeps like doing something. Anyway, I think wait, what? Is this like an entirely different game? Okay. How do I mute this? Please stop. We need to hide another game inside their game. Okay. Anyway, I was gonna go to my Git so that I can like drop in the chat for anyone that. Why is my Git not signed in? Oh no. The fuck are you doing? Why are you doing this? The fuck? Why did it just randomly change from my YouTube? The fuck? Unplug you and plug you in because I fucked one of my USB ports. So even though I have 3, I can only use 2. Use security key. Then touch the security key, and then you go here. And we go, okay. So now we're logged in. We can go to repositories. Well, it's just called idle game because you know I can't ever give anything an original. Did it like not actually push anything? Probably not. I think I published it without anything in there. That's kind of funny. All right. So basic. Basic. I've got basic plan. Right, and then we publish branch. Maybe. Anyway, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste this and go. Here's the link so that if you want to read through the plan that we made, without like me having to try and read it aloud or just scroll back and forth. Where the fuck did it go? There it is. I also feel like I can actually, I can look at it with like actual markdown because it's on Git. I like it's got this like actual planning and scope creep. Oh no, it knows me too well. Scope creep for content and ideas. Impact high, likelihood high. Oh no. Okay, yeah. The AI, it's on to me. What are we doing? We're going to code. Somewhere. This way. Okay. So we ran the game. We go. Did that actually spawn me a cube? I don't know if it spawned me a cube or not. That's the interesting part, isn't it? So we spawned the cube. I don't think we gave the cube a material, so maybe it didn't render. So we're gonna say like mesh material 3D asset server dot add standard material. Yeah, red. Okay, cool. It's also probably not color. It's just red. Okay. Dot into. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Oh, we didn't actually add the system. That's what it'll be. App.spawn add system startup and spawn test cube. Okay. Okay, and then we just go run that and then see what it looks like. Because we'll see if the AI got the player move right. Okay, and so you know this, you know that. Okay, that seems correct. Now we just need to add okay, so we're gonna say fn toggle cursor alright, so I don't know if it's in window anymore because it's it might be mute cursor options. Cursor options like this. Except again it's also single these. And then I think we need what we call primary window. Primary window, like so. With primary window. Yes. Okay, and then we say, hey, button input key codes. If you pressed this, then it's window dot. Okay, so it's Windows dot grab mode. So maybe just match window dot grab mode. Okay, grab mode is none. Then that one. Okay, can we say maybe just like let the IDE do it then? Thank you. Cursor grab mode none. Okay, so either of these do the same thing, which is we're going to say window dot visible equals false and window dot grab mode is defined, and then window visible true and grab mode is false, and then we're going to say dot. Okay, so at startup we're going to spawn the player and we're going to toggle cursor, and then that's where you say don't do this, just toggle cursor. So we can just run it, and then we go we can do that, and then we can do another one, and we go here, we can say toggle cursor dot run if input just pressed key code escape, not eject, it's escape. Right, that should make our mouse toggleable, and then I want to say that the player should still be able to move even if they're not grabbed, but okay, then we have fn player look, which is going to do something like res, okay, move mouse movement is res accumulated mouse motion, like that. Player is single transform player with player entity. Flycam settings, hub look sensitivity, hub invert y. Okay. Okay, player immutable. Okay, so probably also add, so yeah, player move, and then we want to say, so it's player look, oops, and then comma player move, and then dot chain. So we need to look then move, otherwise you end up with inconsistencies about how the player moves, because you'll move and then you'll look, or you'll look and then you'll move, which will change very much what it does. All right, so I think technically I want to access it out here because, you know, boring Windows stuff, but we're gonna have to put it here just to, yeah. So window, and this is going to be a single window, primary window, and it's actually not even that, it's cursor options. Cursor options, yeah. So I'm going to say if window dot grab mode visible return. So is it, except it's not window, it's cursor. Cursor. All right, so then we're going to say so we're going to say like let, I guess, delta equals this if y invert delta. Okay, so accumulated mouse motion. Okay, no, so it's arc delta, right? So it's kind of like something like that delta mouse movement of delta times equals settings look sensitivity if settings invert delta y equals, yeah, delta's never read. So we do that, and then we say let your pitch roll equal player dot rotation to Euler xy So we're going to spin around the Y, which is our yaw, and then pitches around the X, and Z is don't care, okay, and then we say, so we need to make mute and mute, right? So we need something, we go settings, okay, so it's your plus equals delta x dot it's 2 radians, right? And then we say pitch is plus equals this, and then we say pitch dot clamp negative half negative pi, no, it's f32 pi, no, yeah, no, f32 const, core f32 pi, okay, constant pi, okay, frac 1 pi, is it frac 2 pi? 2 divided by pi? No, it's pi divided by 2. Pi. Frac pi 2. Yeah. Okay. And then you are negative core const frac pi 2. Pitch equals. Okay, and then it's Y, because you want a yaw, then you want a pitch, and we don't want any roll. Right. Let's see how that turns out. We'll find out how good my coding skills are. Yeah. Okay, so, well, something's wrong, because it's, okay, so, up, down, left, right, okay, so, I think I've got that backwards, is what's happening, so, very weird, so Y is definitely backwards, and X is also backwards, right, so we just need to go here and say, actually, you're minus, and we probably want to turn the sensitivity down, maybe, I don't know. Okay. I also feel like we need to factor in the size of the screen, because I think the resolution of the screen also changes the sensitivity. Okay, at least I can follow the cube now. And it feels right. Okay. Okay, so if I make the screen bigger, is it harder? No, it doesn't appear to be. Maybe though, I don't know. Wiggle, 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 and then we go, wiggle, 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 wiggle. It feels faster when it's smaller, which is interesting. I think it's because like the same amount of rotation results in different amounts of space. Anyway, the player look kind of works. I just need to like tweak the look sensitivity down a little bit, like maybe like 0.05, half that sensitivity. Okay, so move speed, and then we're gonna say we'll go like boost. Is left shift. Boost. Okay. Left. There's a shift. Left. Right. Space. I want to say control. So I'm gonna go up, fly up, and up, fly down, and then we're gonna go home, and we're gonna go like Y and control left. And then we're going to go in here, and we're going to say, hey, look. Okay. So move, and we're going to say forward, backwards. Okay, so technically these are going to be their own thing. So this would be more like they normalize delta, so it's more like move direction does that, and then we say no, it's here, and we say move to y plus equals 1, and then if key fly down move to, as we know it, immutable mute. Right, and then we want to go settings and say hub boost multiplier is 2. We come down here and we say if input, if keyboard input dot press boost it's move bindings dot boost, then times equals settings move. Okay, that just lets me like hold shift to go faster. Kind of like feel like just implementing kind of interesting fun things. I think I need to use the input manager or whatever it's called to do fun things. Lovely. Where did it go? Lovely. Right. So I think maybe we'll just work on menus today. Because like I want to do the Voxel world stuff, but I feel like that needs a little bit more of a headspace shift than just like implementing menus. And also I feel like getting menus right is a really important thing because it makes everything else really easy to debug later. So what we're going to do is we're going to go like, so I guess we go something, we commit this, we go added fly cam. Let me push that. Okay, so we added a fly cam, and then we go mod UI. Okay, and then we go I don't actually know what I'm gonna do. Maybe so I'm gonna be like maybe mod menu. Something like this. Then we create menu.mod like that, because then I can put this in here, and then we go here and we say mod name. Okay. So what I'm thinking is we want to probably do some kind of like weird state management, because I think states, as long as like they're hashable, are fine, which means like you don't actually have to use any num. I think you can just use a string. Which is going to be interesting. So we're going to do something like this. We're going to say something like, so this is menu. So we're going to say like plugin, and this is going to be called like the menu plugin. Menu plugin, right? Right, something like that. Something like menu plugin. And then maybe we want to do something weird. I remember I had some kind of weird setup thing that was like, it worked pretty well for doing menus, like as a way of describing a menu. So I think I want to do something like a trait. So like pub trait menu, like this, right? And then we're going to say something like, yeah, like fn open and fn close. Except I feel like maybe open doesn't take self, but maybe it does. I think open. I reckon maybe we do something like you take an immutable self and you will return. I guess it's like on open, maybe. A system ID, right, like this. So you return a system ID, and then close is the same, where it just takes in self and returns a system. Right, so like open, close, like that, and then we're gonna go I think something, we need to get something like pub create. Well, it's not even pub. This is just a private create app menu extension. Right, and it's going to say fn add menu. Menu, which is going to be like m, which implements menu, which takes in self and returns itself. Right, and then we go something like impl app menu extension for app. We go here, and we go, hey, schedule. It's not startup, it's self dot on add system on enter. What if actually instead systems open? I don't know if I can do some kind of, so schedule label, which is fun. So it's on enter. So we're going to set something like const menu ID, which is going to be a, I guess, a static string, like that. And so you're going to be like, hey, so we need a struct menu, state, right, and then drive state, drive state, right. So you need to be what, like debug clone copy partial equal and hash, right? And then you're just going to be a static string like this. So then it's like on enter menu state, menu state, menu ID. No field menu ID or type M. So it's not menu dot, okay, so it's M menu ID and M. Right, so then what is your problem? You're saying that it has to be into schedule config. So my thing is like, I want the open to be able to be defined as an open thing. So, and I don't think I can just generically return a type. Like it has to be a, we could probably get away with like open type and close type, maybe. I don't know if you're allowed to do that. Wait. Type open system. So can you just do a thing? Like, can you just be close system? So these are types, right? Somehow. No, it says impulse into system config N and M. But what is M though? Interesting. Into system configs. This takes two generics. Okay, so scheduler and marker. So I assume that's how this works, is that the marker is to marker this, which means that this does this. Okay. So I'm just trying to think how like I can get it to be like, you can declare open. So what we could probably do open m that returns. So wait. Can I get this correct? So like open system, and it's like m and m, right? And then we can go here and say that it's so the marker and the marker, and then so what do you need to take in? You need to take in t and marker. So from what I understood, it was just m, right? And you also m. So how did you conclude this? So you take in your schedule thing is schedule system. Schedule system. Right. Cannot find type schedule system. Did you not bring that in? So the idea being here that we can say like, you take in m, you take in m, and then you take in open self, you return self open system and self close system. So we call your open and your close, which then returns m. Not quite. I don't know what the m is though, that's the problem. What are you actually evaluating to? There's got to be a way to do that, but anyway. Okay, I'm gonna like add open, which is just going to take in self and a mute app, and then we're just going to get rid of this entirely and say, hey, so you return mute app and then add close, and then we're going to say, hey, systems. Damn it, because that also won't work because it means I can't automatically do this. How do I do this? I've done this before where it's like a easy way of being like, hey, here's what open, here's what close. Could we do like maybe O and C, and maybe like give them some different types, and we can say, hey, so open just returns you just return O, and you return C. Maybe. No, because I need to know what this... Oh, I just want to be able to declare open. I don't think it's particularly possible, is it? So you need to return something that impl into schedule configs, where it's a system schedule system, and then O, and then your import schedule system here, and then so you call open, no method named open found for parameter m. Missing generic type. So wow, I don't think the m is m. It's more like you need to be like M-O-C-O and C, maybe. maybe. Okay, so menu takes in this, so it's impl this, and it's like O C menu O C. Okay, method add menu has one type parameter, but its straight declaration has 5 type parameters. Found one type. What? Okay. So what's your problem? So you're saying the M method open is not found for type parameter. Okay, so you take in M. I got phone call back. Okay, so why are you yelling at me saying you can't? I wonder if I can, maybe this is a good spot to ask the AI, because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I know it should be possible, so the AI might be actually able to do it. Can you make the app menu can you make the app menu extension generic in such a way that you can specify the systems that should be added to the open to the on enter schedule. Okay. So can you make the generic in such a way that you can specify the systems that should be added to the on enter schedule? So you can specify any systems that should be added to the open schedule in then open and for the on exit schedule in FN close. Let's see if we can do it. Probably not, but we'll find out. Yeah, so the hope here is that it can wrap its head around the generics enough so that it can, like, because I know it's just about like having the right type, so that like the return type of the open function is specified in such a way that when I declare like impl menu, I just have to be like, where O and C is whatever, you know, like just O and C. And because they're just like the generics for the system that it returns, which then in theory should mean that they're just whatever systems it needs to return. Menu so I can keep the API coherent to make arbitrary systems. Okay, so I'm just gonna say keep all because I don't actually care enough. Okay, so the extension, so open takes in menu M and close takes in menu C, and add menu takes in menu O and C, and then this takes in this and this takes in this. So then when we import this for this, we say open and we say add system on enter menu state of M. Oh, interesting. Systems. And then close is menu, and then add menu is open, MO on open, and close is MO, and then so the menu state, and then menu state of M. Okay. I don't think that's quite correct. because see, add menu, I have to give the open and close. So we're going to go like main. We're going to go pub struct main menu like this, and then we're going to go like import menu, and so it's going to be called main menu. So let's do something like pub use just the menu super. Alright, so then we implement menu, and then we go mod here and go so init state menu state, and then dot add menu main main menu. Main menu, please. Why, where did you pull that from? What have you done? Why did you eat that? Right. See, I think it can go something like this. Something like this. So menu open. See, but that means like you need to be like O and C, and then you don't need this. You can just be O, and you can just be C, right? Oh, right. So you are O and you are C, and then we say add menu O and C. See, I think the trick here is that the AI didn't like that. Cannot find type O. So is it just like O and C like this, and then we go here and we say import O and C, O and C, and then O. The open and close go away. So it's like this, and then we say menu open and close, and then this, and then instead of taking these two systems in, we say self dot add systems on enter this, and on systems add enter this, and then return that. So apparently I left a comma in there somewhere. Okay, so cannot be described as a valid system configuration. Okay, and then I don't know why you're doing this. This just seems dumb. This seems much more like why not just go and menu ID like that, and then just get rid of this whole bit here because I don't really care. All right, so you need two more things. You need to go first off import O and C, and then O and C. That would actually be kind of interesting, is to just say, I don't think I can specify a system is the issue. Open. Right. I don't think that typing is correct. So you return, you take in this, you don't even take in this, you take in nothing and you return this. And then you are the same, you take in nothing and you return this. It doesn't like that. Because we have to call these, right? Hey, that actually might have worked, which is the most bizarre thing ever, of being like, hello, please return underscore, and then be all like, and then open, just say open main menu, and then and then close main menu. So you can't be that, which means that you need to be like temple. Okay, and then we say something like wait a second. Does not describe a valid configuration trait and is not implemented for. Can I do this? This maybe? I don't know. Does not describe a valid system configuration trait. T and marker. First up, add menu, type annotation needed. I think it's like add menu underscore, something like that. What? No. So add menu. Right, so I can't have you generic. Can I have you be underscore? I don't think so. Damn it. Okay. So what I want to do is leave this like this and maybe let the AI like fix it from here, because I think before it didn't know what I was actually asking. We can find out. Because this seems to work, this seems to not. But anyway, can you fix the API now? I have an exam of the shape it needs to be. I'm also going to say please use the smart AI to crack this one. The user's written out the shape they want, but ONC are not defined in the generic parameter input block in main.rs. Yeah, the issue is the new concrete generics, but when the implementation shape needs to have a return type close to the opaque input. Yeah. The problem is that the menu trait uses ONC as generic parameters, but when implementation. Okay, yeah. It's analyzing. I wonder if it's gonna. My annoyance is it's probably gonna try and keep ONC, which is gonna drive me fucking spare. Which annoys me because it means that like I'd have to remove ONC and then ask it to try again without them, because it's gonna be like, oh, but you had these. Interesting. How's it going? Let me consider boxing systems inside it. I wonder if it's going to get anywhere. This doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like it's almost completely out of context. Reserved output, 35%. It's thinking. reading mod, it's reading main. The issue is that ONC and Bevy markers implementers can't name them. The fix is to use node config schedule systems as erasing these markers. Okay. I mean, it does seem like the right kind of approach. What it's saying is, instead of passing something that calls into, we're going to convert it into the type that Bevy would call into onto. So like it has into system configuration, so we just return the system configuration. I mean, the trick with that would to go here and go, hey, what do? You just immediately you call this, which just calls add system. And so we say schedule, and then schedule, and then we say schedule add system. And then we say entity schedule add system. And then we say self.graph. So it just needs to be a schedule config. T. Process schedule config. Interesting. Okay. I'm just gonna start keep and work from there. Schedule. It's not throwing errors, which is actually kind of cool. Can I close this? So we just call open menu into config. Because that's what I was. That's what I was looking up. Is this and then system schedule. So then this, and then we say, hey, you do this, and then we say add menu, and you do this, and you add this, and we go menu state, init state, menu plugin. So if we go back to main and we say like, hey, can we a player plugin and also menu plugin? Yes, and then we go run and we go, hey, what are the odds that you're actually gonna well, probably nothing, because I don't think you initialize into any state. If anything, you crashed because encounter an error system, and then so something skip system. I suspect it's this. We init state add state. So init state, I would assume, like we have default, and default is empty. Why? What system is missing something? Bevy ECS handle resource does not exist. Enable debug features to see the name. Parameter validation. Resource does not exist. But what system am I calling that requires a resource? If you added, no, neither of these require a resource. Do you like just not actually spawn the state in contains? Well, it contains resource state. No. Alright, so I guess first trick, go back to main and say, hey, if I like, right, let's go to you. What the fuck? Wait, what? Okay. Well, that answers that fucking problem, doesn't it? Not UI widget. Not even Bevy. It's the wrong fucking plugin. Use UI menu. UI. Okay, and then hub use menu. Right. Well, that would explain why it was missing. Is because I was being an idiot and I was using a Bevy thing without initiating. Hey, all right. And then the next thing would be to go here, main, and go impl default for this, and say that your default, yep, anyway, is main menu ID. Right. From that. So that should then default us into the main menu. Except apparently we didn't save. That's missing? Okay, weird. So this should default to us being in the main menu, which should default to it saying in main menu. Hey, open main menu. Okay. So we can open a main menu. Which is kind of cool. Open main menu. Dot into config. Right. Schedule. So technically we want that to be a sub menu, maybe. There's definitely something I need to do in order to make sure that when we actually like hit play, we like hide the cursor and everything. But anyway, open main menu. So, and here's the fun thing. When we open this, we can say like, we're gonna play it and we can say like fn show cursor. And we can come down here and we can say fn hide cursor, and we can make these public. Right. Like that. Right, and then we can go back to our main menu and we can go on open. I want to go something like create player show cursor. Right, and then when we leave we can say hide cursor, and then it's gonna be a little bit weird. Hide cursor is private apparently. Weird. Right, so the only thing that makes this a little bit weird is that we're showing and then hiding the cursor every menu change, which means it will skip back to the middle every time you change a menu. But anyway, on our open menu, because we have our cheeky, like we can just say like commands like so, and then everything has to work, and then we can say like commands dot spawn, and then I think we go back up to menu. Here we can say like yeah, no, I mean, I have a tendency to program for a long period of time when I do start programming. Like someone who dropped in a few times when I used to stream more, iMouse, would be like, "What? You're still streaming? It's been like 12 hours." And it's like, yeah. I do only plan to stream for like another hour before I hop off. We're gonna have lunch and stuff like that. But I'll be streaming in tomorrow probably. So we're gonna say something like enable scoped. Set, no, so entities, state, rigid, so maybe it's not, maybe it's, menu state, it was like a state scoped thing. States, derive, no, okay. So implementing state, impl state, free mutable state, states. Dependency depth. How many other states that this state depends on? There was a way you could like enable and disable state scoped entities or something like that, but I thought it was like an automatic thing. State set default register mutable state. Add component state. No. Scope. I don't remember. There was definitely a way to do it. Maybe I need to actually like spawn one in and it'll tell me on the actual thing. So we're gonna say despawn on exit. Okay. So if you need to disable this behavior, add the okay, so it's on by default. Okay, despawn on exit, menu state, main menu ID. Right. So that means that anything we spawn now is the main menu, and therefore can be fucked with. So okay. I am curious to try and do some kind of like sub menu, top menu levely thing of like, because we're doing like a despawn on exit menu state, if I could make multiple menus equal the same menu. I don't know if that works. That would be kind of interesting if it did, but I don't think it would, because it's like hashes need to be unique, and I'm thinking like you could make it so that effectively two things are equal. Does it like a par equal thing where it's like a sub menu is equal to its parent, so it doesn't despawn, or like I guess it's like a top level menu is equal to all of its sub menus. I could try that, but maybe not fuck around with that for today. But anyway, we're gonna go something like node, and be like width value percent. We're only like maybe 30%, and then height is like 60%. We'll make everything else default, and we're gonna go like background color is black with alpha 0.8. Except we don't want black, we want like gray. Gray. Nope. For some reason it's not picking up the palette, so we're gonna say like use Bevy. I've killed my fucking thing again. Okay. Bevy. The color palettes. CSS all. Okay, then we're gonna say gray. Dot alpha. Oh, so we're gonna say color from gray dot with alpha 80%. What do you mean? Yeah. Okay, so it is working. So can I borrow a command? So we set the background color to gray with a slight transparency because that's what the AI said, and I thought that's kind of cool. What do you mean? Can't borrow fucking? Okay. I don't know why my computer keeps not saving. It keeps like lag spiking and just like not saving files. Anyway, this should open the main menu, and the main menu opens as like a little gray. Now this is, oh, it's because I did that. No, right. Yeah. So did it open with me doing that? No, which is interesting because that implies that the on and we don't on enter. That's what's going on. Anyway, we need to go to main, and we need to say no, it's player, and say don't toggle grabbing the cursor when we start the game. Player plugin. So the first thing we do is toggle the cursor, and I'm going to say don't toggle the cursor because we want to spawn in a menu, and therefore we don't want to have the cursor grabbed. So I'm going to do main, and then we go, okay, so we spawn this in, so we need to do something like margin CUI rect or auto, which is going to center us, and we also want this to be like 25% of the screen. We want, did I turn it on? Yeah, okay. So we want to like use feathers, I think is actually the, I don't quite know how feathers works in terms of, so we're going to go here, we're going to say plugin init, and this is going to be our UI plugin. right? And then we're gonna go like app.add plugin, menu plugin, and we're also gonna go app.add plugins, Bevy, Bevy, feathers, I assume. I don't actually know. Go up here. Let's go in our main instead of the menu plugin in the UI plugin. Create UI plugin instead of the create menu plugin. Right. Yeah. Okay. UI plugin. Right. So then the UI plugin will add this, and then we're going to say feathers. Feathers plugins. Okay, so this should add all the plugins to do the feathers, and then we want to like app.insert resource Bevy feathers theme dark theme create dark theme. Okay, so is not a resource. What? Okay. So what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? Okay. You input for the plugin. Create a theme object and populate it with the. Is it Bevy feathers okay, let's cut this out because apparently that's causing issues. Why are you doing this? What is your problem? Why are you constantly not running? Okay. Tokens? No, it's theme. Theme font color? No. UI theme. Is it this? Is this how we do it? Yeah, okay. And then we go, if I run this, I don't think it'll work because the, well, it would work. It's not gonna make a difference because I'm not using feathers anywhere here. Yeah, so, if I said something like, maybe in menu, that's main, yeah, we're gonna go something like, use Bevy feathers prelude. No, is there a prelude? I think I'm going to just do that, and then because that should mean up here we can say something like feathers, and then constants controls cursor, dark theme font styles, handle and path, palette, rounded corners, theme tokens. Mechanism for specifying which corners of a widget are rounded and using segmented buttons and okay, no. Constants, controls. What's inside the controls? I don't remember how to use. So yeah, it's got buttons. Right, so it has button checkbox. Okay. Color switch ray slider toggle. Right. Do I just do this? Like, how the fuck I can't? Ah, because I'm not saying use. That's why. Use. Stop trying to correct things. Okay, so use feathers. So we have the feathers plugins, the constants, controls, cursor, palette, rounded corners, theme tokens. So controls constants. Is it in here maybe? Something tells me that no, it's just fonts and sizes. Okay, I was hoping there'd be like a panel or something. Control button. Right, like that. And then down here somewhere we go, hey, chill. Button. Right, locate B button. Button. Okay, and then we've had button properties. We should probably just make this a wildcard then, because we're going to be using a bunch of this stuff. So, God, my IE is not having fun. Button properties. Okay, what do we need? Variant. Button variant. Primary. Corners. Corner. What did you want? You want something like raise corners. Ray is. Did I spell that wrong? Oh, rounded corners. Rounded corners. All. Do I get to specify anything? No. Okay. All right, because that's probably a configuration thing. Okay, and then overrides. Wait, what? So B and then children. Okay. So we want this to be like text. No. By. Comma. And then children is just unit. It's not going to spawn any children for you. And then we go, are you working? Okay, it's fucking dying, but nope, it does not like that, because for some reason my computer just keeps not saving. Fuck me, I don't know why it's not. Anyway, so we have button, and the button, and the primary button, and then play. I think we need to modify this to justify to the center, but anyway. Hey, it says play. So it's gonna be like justify content. So yeah, constrains alignment along the main axis. So we're gonna say justify content. Content space between. I think you need padding, UI padding like 16 pixels just to keep everything away from the edges. And then we're gonna say Control C, comma, paste, and then primary. So this is going to be, oops, I think normal is the other option. Yeah, primary or normal, round all corners. This is going to be quit. And then I don't think I can flex grow, which is annoying. Is there a stretch? Not justify. Okay, well, they both say play for some reason, which is annoying, because again, I definitely fucking hit save. Okay, first off, you're we're going here, flex direction, flex column. Okay, so play and quit are next to each other, which is what we want. Is it column or is it row? I don't remember. Okay, cool. Okay, and then for some reason the text isn't centered in them, but I don't remember how to do that. I don't think I can because I need access to you or something. Maybe it's like just apply self no items, align items center. Okay, so use to control how each individual item is aligned by default with the space and space round. Ew, gross. Okay, I don't know if I can. Maybe it's justify items. Justify items. Okay. Well, it kind of works, but not really. We kind of want to also maybe make our rounded. Oh, no, we can't change the corners. Okay, so neither of these do anything, but we can do I want to go here and say like I think it's like a menu. So like struct menu button. Menu action, yeah. Action. And then this is just going to be a run. And it's going to system ID. Like so. I shouldn't think you take anything. Let's do this. And then we say maybe import menu action fn. Whoop, why did you consume that? That was weird. Fn new and then system system ID. God, this IDE being so slow is driving me insane. Let's do this. Right. Yep, returns up. Right. So the reason the menu action is going to do that is we're going to then add an observer. We're going to say fn on click on I guess press. I don't know how this actually works. So then this says this takes in on press click. Oh, yeah, I don't know. On Bevy, so feathers controls activate. No, press. No, wait. It's Bevy. I forget that they're actually two different things. Bevy UI, something or other. Bevy. God, what is killing my fucking IDE here? Restart, please. Task manager. Is something like just absolutely hammering my computer? I don't think so. Like nothing's running particularly hard. I mean that one hard drive didn't kind of like that. Anyway, let's restart that. Okay, so it's Bevy. Okay, use Bevy UI widgets. Activate. Identify sent or a button or menu item. On activate. Activate. Okay. Dot. Oh, that's good. Rest. Like print line. button pressed. What do you mean? Why you don't run it? Okay, weird. Okay, so you're gonna be like add observer on press. Why are you being so slow? Okay, so we click you. Also, for some reason it's still doing that. What? Why can I only press the button over the fucking text? Why you do this? It's so annoying. Anyway, it's not actually doing anything, which makes me think that I need to... It either didn't add it because the fact that it still thinks this is dead code, which annoys me. Alright, did it fucking do it this time? Because it's no longer saying this is dead code. Oh, it's like, it's just not saving. Like, what the fuck? Okay, so now when I click you, hey, button pressed. Right, and then we want to go and say sure, save whatever the fuck that is. So next you need to say something like actions. This is going to be a query for menu action. We need commands as well. Commands, and then we say if let okay action get commands dot run system. Is this how this works? I don't fucking... What is this? It's something is just going real slow. Yeah, actually, you see, not a component. It's fine. Derive. Component. Right, so we drive component and we say, hey, action and Q, and then we say run, and it's run system. Right, that should then like let any system, any menu button. So what we're going to say is go, hey, so when I click you, you are going to have a menu action. New. So we're going to say let on play equal command dot register system state where is mute state next state menu state set. Right, and then I should be able to say here and say on play. Why is it just like not working? Anyway, run. Why are we intoing you? You are the right type. Anyway. So, what is going on? Click this. We go into, hey, close my menu. So, something when we hit escape, we want to like a pause menu rather than a like doing the toggle here, which is fun because it means that we can get to like. It actually means that we could in theory feel like any menu, right? So it's like maybe in UI or every menu. So we could do like mod, and we come down here and we could say the struct no menu, right? And then we're gonna go impl menu or no menu, and this is just in game, and then we say, hey, you on open, we're going to say create player I don't remember what I called it. Why is it so slow? Hide cursor, show cursor. No, on exit, show hide cursor. So we're gonna say player hide cursor, and then yep, create. Not create. Anyway, copy this, and then this one is going to be close. Wait, yeah, and then this is show cursor. No method named into configuration for type unit. Yes, but I have changed it. Oh my god, why is it so... Anyway, so no menu, and then we go back up here and we say add menu, main menu, and dot add menu, no menu. Right, so then no menu does that. Then we can go to main, and we can go to main menu, and we can say, hey, main menu, you don't need to show and hide the cursor. You can just call open main menu, and you can just call close main menu, like so. Like so. Okay, so no menu, and then the no menu does the swapping and the swapping. Actually, technically you want to be blank, because that's how that's going to work, basically. So we enter main menu, and then when we leave main menu, we're going to clear that, and when we clear that, that takes us to the game. So the game is actually blank. Okay, cool. Right, so no menu is what opens and closes our thing, which means that we can now have a mod escape menu, right? And we can like create escape menu, and then we go use super so, and then we say pub struct escape menu, right? And then we import pub. We import menu for escape menu, and then your ID is escape menu, and then we say, why are you hiding and showing the cursor? No, open escape, and then you are close escape. I actually don't think you do anything. Anyway. Anyway, sure. Despawn on exit menu ID. New escape menu, you take up this, and then you have a button which is resume and quit. And then can you this needs to do something, but anyway, we're gonna say let on resume equal that you stage this, and so text, and then we say new, and then it's like on resume. Ooh, actually, interesting point there. Interesting point. I might want to say something like on resume. So my thing here is you really don't want to be like making a system every time, because it won't unregister it. So we want to say something like derive resource. Okay, and we're going to say info from world for escape menu. God, this is getting annoying. It's just like not running. But why? Oh, God. Why is it so slow? Okay, anyway. So from world, what are you world doing? You weird. Okay, register system. System ID, set needs. Okay, and then you return self. Is this related to vibe coding or is it not? I'm gonna close this and go like, hey, you gonna be faster now? Like, is it because it keeps like fucking sending everything to the fucking AI? Okay, I don't think so. I think it's like my computer is doing something weird. Okay, so we register system, resume, we'll give you resume, and then we say, hey, on escape, we're gonna also like, you know, grab ourself, which is escape menu, like this. And then we're just gonna say, hey, on resume is this. So actually it's down here somewhere. We can say on resume is escape menu on resume. Right. I'm gonna just do that. Right. So we can do it on resume there, and then we go up to here, and then it's still fucking being real slow. I think you're gonna be the same. This is on play. Yep. And then down here we say on up main menu, and then this would be, instead of doing this, we would say menu.on play. So basically the idea being that this is just a way of from world. Okay, cool. This is just like a way of caching this on play, so that if we do return to the main menu and then return back, if we do return to the main menu and back, we don't like, or every time we hit escape, we don't make a new system and register it. We just register it once when we create the system, and then from then every other time it's fine. So we're going to also go back up to menu. We're going to say that, hey, a menu requires that it's required that menu implements resource and also from world, right? To force me to always have to implement this. And then we want to say also self.init resource m, right? Like so. Ta-da! Right. Now, I don't think it's going to do anything because we haven't actually told it that when we hit escape, we want to open escape menu, but yeah, okay. That's fine. Something panicked because resource does not exist. What resource doesn't exist? Probably escape menu and main menu, because I probably didn't save these fucking files because Control S is just not working. What the fuck? Okay, so no menu, and you say, oh, because we have to derive resource and default. escape menu is just like have a bit of a day, you know? We have to go like F and close escape. Yeah, like nothing to do here. So we should probably make this like return an option or something so that we don't have to do that. And we're going to just go like, hey, we take these and we go to here and say, hey, these are very common things for us to need. So just put them there, thank you. So this is escape menu. So we go here and we say, hey, mod. And we go here. So we have our main menu and we go add menu. It's menu, skip menu, okay. And then we want to probably give menu some kind of like config way so that like when I add the escape menu, I want the escape menu to be the one that configures itself. So like init maybe. Actually, that's a much better way of doing it. Init, which takes in app mute app like this. Right, and then returns probably nothing, to be honest, and I'm just gonna say you just do this. Right, the idea being that like you do nothing and you're predefined, because if you don't do a semicolon it means that expected parameters. Yep, what the fuck do you mean you can... Why are you being so slow? I fucking hate it. Anyway, none of this should actually matter because none of this cares. So what we actually do then is go, instead of doing that, just call m init itself, right? So that means that we don't actually have to put these requirements on it, that it's resource and world, right? Because then we can say that I'm just gonna leave it because I don't actually care. But like these two inside of their fn init, so you can init resource. You can say init resource itself, right, like that. Why are you so slow? Oh, okay, I'm glad that I decided I was going to end the stream soon because they're fucking doing my goddamn head in. Fn init. Okay, so because this also means that we can say like app dot add system update toggle toggle run task dot run if in state menu state self menu ID, something like that. And then we can say fn toggle escape. Actually, no, just toggle escape. It's just something that runs. And then we say state, which is res state menu state mute next res mute running code action. What is why? What is running code actions? Is something doing something? Can I like archive you or something? Can you just like stop? I don't know if it's this doing it. I've never had this issue where it just keeps getting progressively slower and slower. Okay, next state menu state then we say, I guess technically you do want to run if you want to say dot run if input just pressed key code escape. I don't actually know what it's called, and annoyingly saving. Why? What is doing this? And if I don't do it, it just doesn't run the fucking Rust outline. Great. Okay, fuck you. So toggle escape, which because we're only firing when we get a key, we say if state dot get equals menu state blank next dot set menu state escape menu ID menu ID else if we can do it else if state dot get equals menu state escape menu main menu ID next dot set menu state okay. It's just not fucking running the code and it's doing my head in, but in theory this should be like a working escape menu, in that when we hit escape, can we just like run this and like get it to just fucking run it itself? Because I don't know what this fucking running code actions is doing. It did not like that because something is missing. So annoyingly, it won't tell me what resource is missing. So we encounter a panic in two systems, which almost certainly means that init's not called, which means that it's probably not here, not here. Something's not being saved. Why are you not being saved? Why can I not fucking save this? Just save the fucking file. Jesus Christ. So I have to skip the thing because otherwise it doesn't save. Why? Skip fucking running your code actions. What is doing that? That's why it keeps missing saving shit. It's because it's literally forcing other shit to do stuff. Anyway, menu state, reference to menu state. First off, it's fuck you. Fuck you. Like the fact that I have to wait for this to finish running before I can actually save. That's got to be an AI thing. It's got to turn something on. Skip. Because if I skip it, it'll actually save. But if I don't skip it, if I close it, it doesn't save. The file just does not save. So it must be like key escape, maybe? Key escape? Or is it just called escape? Probably called escape. Escape. We have to pull that into. Oh my god, what have you done, AI? No, save this fucking file. I hate this so much. I don't understand why I won't save the fucking file when I ask it to, but anyway, that's why the stream is ending in like as soon as this works, which is going to take like 3 minutes. Okay. Okay, so we go play, and we can control, and then we hit escape, and hey, and we resume, and we escape, and we resume, and we can hit escape. Now I really want to work on settings. God damn. Okay. If anyone knows how to fucking make it not keep running whatever the fucking action it's trying to run, it's not in git ignore, because it's just no, it's not, it won't be in there. What is doing it? I don't think of anything. Maybe if I just close code. I'm gonna close all my code windows, all of them, and then just like rerun code. And then nope, this is the wrong piece of code. Anyway, we'll just open folder. We go this YouTube projects, Voxel idle games, like this. Right. So freshly reopened. Hopefully it fucking Rust Analyzer gets its shit together and stops just randomly running some kind of code action that the AI maybe turn something on. I don't fucking know. Still in my head. Okay. So I feel this should return an option, and then therefore you can like have it not run things when it closes. Anyway, if the save issue continues, I'm going to end the stream now. If the save issue doesn't continue, I'm going to implement a settings menu so that I can edit the settings. Okay, so what we're going to want to do is we're going to go like to mod here. We're going to go menu plugin, menu plugin, menu plugin, mod. I don't want them to be crashed like that, so we can say mod settings menu, this. Okay, settings menu, and we're also gonna like mod camera maybe? Settings. Like this. Okay. Right. Now, what I like about this is, like, in theory, it could make like a stacked menu view. That means that like we could actually like let you go down menus and up menus, because what we can do is basically effectively do is hash a menu back to its start, but when we modify menu, we can pop the menu and paste the menu. Does menu state have to be... Menu state needs to be clone, but it doesn't need to be copy, which means that I can actually use like a vector in here and pop and push different things. Anyway, we're gonna go to settings menu. So we're gonna go, hey, in main menu. So actually all we'll do is we're gonna go back to, so what I kind of want is maybe to go, let's replace this with a menu ID, and it's just going to be a type. Go back to here. Yeah, so we're going to re-architect our menu. So this is going to be like a struct menu ID, and this is just going to be a U64. E32 would be better, but it can use a U64 because it's easier. Then we're going to say, okay, do we go with a name maybe? I could do that. We'll leave it now. So menu ID, and then we're gonna go. How am I gonna do this? So we're going to import menu ID. I'm going to say pub const fn new, and this is going to take in impl as hash. So ident impls hash, and we're going to do this, and then we're going to say you return self. Right. So the fun thing about this is we're going to go, like, don't think this works because I don't think the default hasher is allowed to run at compile time. Is not satisfied hasher. Finish. Expected struct default hasher, but is bound. Okay, so declaration of import cannot be equivalent. Okay, so new h where h is hash, and then you take in h, right? So destructor of h cannot be known at compile time. Okay, so annoying. Okay, so we're just gonna fucking make you take in a static stir. Okay, and so you're gonna say that the default hash and new can keep. So let's go like Rust compile time. Rust PHF is a library to generate effective lookup tables at compile time using perfect hash functions. Not exactly what I want, but I mean, kind of. So strict word perfect hash map. How does your perfect map work? I would like to see your source code, please. Okay, if we have macros. If has config attribute. This seems weird. Right. So first off, we're just going to go up here and we're just going to say that menu is actually a menu ID. So well, obviously we're going to give you default. Your default. Okay, so this perfect compile time hash I don't think is what I want, perfect hash map, but it does imply that you actually very much can just hash it at compile time. No, const Rust const hash. Okay. Const cipher, apparently. Okay, so I don't know if this will work because I have never used it before, but we're gonna. Well, I am so sick of that. Every time I go to copy paste something, it always fucking it creates the IO and copy the actual fucking piece of code. So apparently this will let me like const hash something, so we can go here and we can say, hey, settings main mod wherever it was here. So this is obviously not going to work because it doesn't like that I'm doing that, but we can take in that because that's a constant thing, and we can say const cipher prelude sip hasher new let me hash. I didn't hash. Is your hash compile time? No. What are you gonna need to do, son? So no ident. It's hash up hash. Right, and then the bytes would be ident bytes. No, as bytes, and then you'd say self, like this. Right. Sure. Maybe. I feel like I might need to give this a seed. Creates it. Oh no, just the two keys are set to 0. So this should be consistent. And then you also need to be debugged. Okay. And probably clone. Actually, you can clone copy it, just and equal particle. God, I just have every type, don't I? Do you need to be hash? No, you don't need to be hash. I need to import hash for you then. We're going to say import hash. Straight, and then actually, you know, you just return state self.0.0. Cool. Ah, what? Damn it. Okay, so it's state dot the right u64 self dot 0.0. Okay, there you go. So now it hashes itself, which is not at all a good way of doing that, but anyway. Right, so I don't know if I need that double level of indirection, but it's easier to do it than it is to try and pull it out right now. So you would just be menu ID empty string. Just empty string. Oh, right. No, you can actually just menu ID 0. Okay. So then you new. So the main menu, we found the main menu, and we say, hey, you're a menu ID, and then it's menu ID new main menu. And then so you set. So I'm going to say menu state, and I'm going to have to import. I'm going to import menu state. I should also have the chat open so I can see people talking. Menu state like this. We're going to say fn const fn blank. No game. Actually, it'll be const in no menu. Hang on. Fair enough. Right, and then so this set state to menu state menu. Oh wait, what? That's not how you do that. Anyway, we have to go correct that. Anyway, you're not a menu state. You're a menu state. Self. Like so. No menu. Public. Just underscore equals. Right. So then you would also be a so your menu ID, menu ID new, right, like this, and then menu state, no menu state, no menu. Right, so that should then theoretically like fix a lot of these issues. Menu state, no menu. Right. So we can also get rid of these because they're brought in by the bring in super. So first off, we should probably check that it's actually still working. But like in theory, that shouldn't have changed anything because all we did was rearrange that whether we're actually storing a string or an ID. And the reason I was doing that is because I want the menu state to keep track of basically the order at which the menus were opened, right? So that should then allow me to be like, if I go back to mod here, I can change this to a not the menu ID, the menu state. So I don't think you need equals. You do need equals. That is weird. Well, technically it's not weird because it's like a state thing, but anyway, we are going to import partial equal for menu state. And we then also have to implement equal to menu state, but basically we can be cheeky and be like import eq for menu state, and then I guess we can also just like do like open is menu ID and proof is vec menu ID, because it's like as long as we don't actually push lots of menus, it won't do much. And then we check to see if open is equal to open, and then we I think both yeah, menu state new no no, this is called no menu. Yeah, no menu ID. Right, so why am I tweaking this? Because we want to say ooh, we can't do it at constant time, can we? Damn. All right, so this needs to be a pub game. Yes, I don't it's called no menu. And then just return self, which is it's technically no menu ID. This, and then no previous menus. Right, and then so we say open and it pass that hash in. See, because that's the idea. It's technically we hash it the same no matter how many like history you have. Like that's why I would say it's okay to do par equal and equal, is because we're saying that if the open menu matches the menu you're asking if it matches, then it is equal. Like it doesn't matter if the previous menu was the same. I think we can also technically do a I think you can go like import par equal partial equal, and then we can say menu ID, and we can do that and say like self.open equals other, and that makes us able to check to see if the menu that's currently open is the menu that we have. Okay, so we also apparently need to have a menu state new, which just takes in a open, which is a menu, open with menu ID. Okay, then we just say new, because the idea of this is that it's like it doesn't matter what your chain of menus is, you'll always open, like it'll always just act the same. If you have like a million long menu chain, technically we should make it so that we actually change the menu, not overwrite the menu. What are you saying? Something about no menu. Okay, so why are you saying menu state? But no, it's right. So that's the annoying bit. That's the annoying bit, is because do you actually move next state? I'd have to check that, but my concern here is that it's toggle escape. This one doesn't matter so much, but as we go through menus, yeah, okay. Interesting. New menu. Wait, what? Right. Yeah. So my concern here is that if it's making a copy, then we have to make a copy every time. Where if it's moving, we can like take that one. No, we can't. We have to copy it every time. The option is just give it 2 or 3 it's annoying. Anyway, 10 minutes left on the stream. Okay. Right. We're just going to try and get a settings menu smushed together as quick as we can. So let's just check, make sure we didn't break something by tweaking all those menus. It shouldn't be too bad, to be honest. So it still works. So then next we want to go settings menu, and we want to go like, hey, struct settings menu, and we're going to import menu. Okay, yeah, we're going to use super. With that, use super. Then we say menu for settings menu, and we say, hey, menu ID, menu setting, and open settings menu. Technically, okay, that's another thing I want to change because it's annoying. So this is going to be an option, and your default behavior is none. And then you're going to be, yep, if let close schedule is none. So you show hide cursor, so you actually do something when opened and closed. You, on the other hand, apparently don't do anything. Well, that's a settings menu thing. So again, you don't do anything when you're closed. Technically, I think the closing of the settings menu would be what would persist it. Close escape, I don't think close escape is even used. Yep, there's like literally nothing, hence the deciding that now's the time to fucking go and make it so that we don't have to do that. And main and close main, and it does literally nothing. Okay. So you have to tell it what it does when it opens, because that's how we render it. Opens anything. Okay, so we're going to say fn open settings menu, and we're going to say, hey, do this, please do this. This is getting really gross. What the? Okay, I'm going to say, please don't do that, because you've just fucked the whole thing up by not putting the right amount of parentheses in here. And you say, okay, so settings menu is going to need the setting, so camera. Which is going to be a system ID. Right, and then so we're going to say, so we derive derive resource import from world or settings, and we say, hey, register, no, don't register systems. We're going to say camera, and we're just going to say world dot register system, and then that system is just going to be a mute. I need to tweak this so that it's easier to do. Res mute next state menu state dot set camera menu setting, that is. Struct pub struct camera settings menu use super import menu for camera menu settings. The other option is use a string, and then we can push and pop the string. Anyway, so we open this missing parameters function definition. What the fuck do you mean? We're implementing something. I don't know. Alright, so we did this and we did this, and so then you pass you and you pass you and you pass you and you open this and you say, you also need to request single menu single settings menu like that. So we say, hey, is not valid data. That's because it's res, right? Res settings menu. Okay, settings menu, and then we say spawn, despawn on an exit. Something like that. Text camera, primary, no, normal. Right, and then it's gray, we have a value. Yep, okay. I feel like the setting box should probably be the settings box, if that makes sense. Anyway, despawn on menu settings name, settings menu with percent space between. That seems correct. Open the menu. We do want a back, but I feel like back I'm going to configure to be like a custom thing. So we can say fn open camera menu settings. Oh god, I forget that we have to like do this like this. And go. Can you just do nothing actually? Well, no, I need you to do the same thing as we did here. Except you're not escape menu, you're a camera settings menu. Camera settings. Oh, okay. So technically you don't do anything. So resume. I feel like I'm gonna have some like settings that just kind of do nothing. I guess like, well, not nothing, but like obstruct camera. So you call open on this. Right. So here's the fun thing, because of how we have our init set up, is we can initialize ourselves. This is the escape menu. So then this can also app.add menu. Actually, technically it should probably be its own thing because the menu. So the settings menu shouldn't probably be initialized like that. So we're going to say add menu. So this is going to be settings menu, but then the settings menu, yes, that's struct. I hate that it does this struct's private, but like you still can't jump to it. Yes, but please let me jump to it because I want to make it public. Right, so we do that and we go here and we go, hey, fn init. Right, and then we say app dot init resource self dot add menu camera settings menu. Right, like that. So So then that should work out that we can do this, we can do this, we can go, hey, camera. So we run this, we're going to go into settings, and then we're going into setting. Right, so we should be able to go play, and then we should be able to go escape. Right, it does help if we actually add the settings menu, which is to go, maybe? Okay, so we have to go mod here, and we need to say like, fn open. Menu. Right, and that's going to take in a m that is menu. And it takes in menu, which is actually no, you don't do that. Then you just return a example, whatever the fucking weird ass fucking voodoo magic you need for it to be a system. Goes into system configs like this, and then we just say mute next res mute next state menu state next. Let's do okay. What do you want? What are the menus? So it's just... actually don't know if this... yeah, no, this is correct because it's but you need two arguments. M. C. C. Nope. You don't like that. Into. Is it int? Can I just leave this blank? Can I let you decide what to return? No. Okay. First off, can I say like I can just declare what you fucking are. You just return an fn. Or is it an fn? I don't know. Anyway, open menu does that now. That's what open menu returns. So that means that like the escape menu can now come down here and it can say resume, or we can say button like this, but this is normal. Normal, and then it's this, and then it's escape, except. So this is open settings. Except you don't do this, you just say, the main thing is you probably have to put this on the menu itself so that like you don't end up with like every time something that can open that menu has it. So like the other, like the way to do it would be like, hey, you can open this menu, so it's like that menu saves its open function. Anyway, so we go something like open menu, and then that menu is settings menu, something like that. Right, and then you come down here and you say, hey, settings, and open settings, and then like a comma. We go, hey, that should give us our settings. And we have to do it in main as well. So main also, this is why I'm saying I think like open settings like should probably be its own thing. Like the settings menu should be the thing that holds that, so that like you can go, hey, I need to open settings, which is interesting. It would give a weird dynamic to how you declare things. Anyway, like a weird dependency in terms of setting, like menus need to be declared before menus. Like from the bottom up, I guess, like so the bottom menu needs to be declared before the rest of the menus can open. Yeah, so we have settings now. So we have play and settings and quit. Settings, and the settings is camera, and then camera has nothing. Ta-da! Menus. All right, I'm going to call that for today. I will hopefully be streaming it tomorrow, and we will continue working on this. And I want to add like an automatic back button that like I don't know how I'm going to do it. I guess when we transition from one state to another, we can check to see if there's any states left in the transition and have like a back button, and a back button will take you to the previous menu. Or we can check to see if like when we're spawning it in, because it's like what I should also probably do is stop this thing here, like despawn on exit here, from like always being generated for every single menu. So then now I can have like the menu spawns in, and then like we spawn the buttons based on the next menu, because that would then allow me to do things like have the last button always be a back button if there is a previous menu in the list. But anyway, and like if it's not if there's no previous menu, then the back button doesn't appear. But that would require me having the menu, like big menu context, the gray box around it. This bit needs to be always like present whenever a menu is open, so that I have definitely got something that I can. Yeah. Anyway, also I probably should make escape go back to back a menu and forward a menu, because even though I can now toggle again, which is not what it's supposed to be doing. Well, like it is, but like this menu should close. That should not work if the menus are open. Anyway, I need to like basically